think it would be a big deal personally.
Yeah. Hold on just 1 second. I gotta unmute this.
Center stage. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
Oh my God.
Next, entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy.
Former Vice President
shit.
Mike Pence.
Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris.
What the hell happened to it?
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott.
I mean, it's still got to be somewhere.
Former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson.
And North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum.
Okay, I don't know what happened to it. There it is.
Some ground rules for tonight. We'll ask the questions, and then candidates get 1 minute to answer. If someone is singled out, you get 30 seconds to respond. And when the time runs out, we all will hear this. Very pleasant.
What the hell? Is that normal?
So tonight, these candidates have a big opportunity to break out of the pack and to
Pretty
explain why they are best prepared to be the Republican choice for president. At a time when the likely Democrat nominee, President Joe Biden, is working to convince the country that with Bidenomics, things are looking up.
They call my plan Bidenomics. I'm not sure they meant it in a totally complimentary way at the time. But guess what? It's working.
But is it? More than 65% of Americans say the country is headed in the wrong direction. And here's the reality for some voters we talked to here in Wisconsin this week.
The economy.
We have noticed a dramatic increase in prices at the grocery store just across the board.
Gas is high and food is high. A lot of people's out here homeless because they can't buy food.
It's tough when you got mortgage rates at 7-8% versus 2 to 3. It's just you can't afford the house anymore.
Inflation is ridiculous. It's killing us out here.
As we sit here tonight, the #1 song on the Billboard chart is called Rich Men North
Oh my God, are they bringing this up?
It is by a singer from Farmville, Virginia,
Of course they are.
named Oliver Anthony.
Farmville.
His lyrics speak of alienation, of deep frustration with the state of government and of this country. Washington, D.C. is about 100 miles north of Richmond.
Oh, copyright. Copyright. Anyway, he basically saying like, of all those rich men north of Richmond, that's why it basically is the gist of the tune. That's the reason why, you know, whatever. But the only reason why that song is popular is because somebody paid to make it popular.
Right.
Right now.
Promoter.
What do you think it means?
Our country is in decline.
What the fuck?
Right? Is that? Yeah, mine
Decline
looks
is
like
not
it's still
inevitable.
going.
It's
So
a
it's fine.
choice. We need to send
What's up?
Joe Biden back to his basement and reverse American decline.
Such a fucked up.
And it starts with understanding we must reverse Bidenomics so that middle-class families have a chance to succeed again. We cannot succeed as a country if you are working hard and you can't afford groceries, a car, or a new home, while Hunter Biden can make hundreds of thousands of dollars on lousy paintings. That is wrong. We also cannot succeed when the Congress spends trillions and trillions of dollars. Those rich men north of Richmond have put us in this situation. And finally, we need to lower your gas prices. We're going to open up all energy production. We will be energy dominant again in this country. I showed it could be done in the state of Florida. I pledge to you as your president, we will get the job done, and I will not let you down.
Governor DeSantis, thank you.
What is that smile?
Mr. Christie, do you agree with Governor DeSantis just
Oh
said
my
there? And
God.
why would
It's
you be
fake.
better on the economy than him?
Well, look, I do agree predominantly with what Governor DeSantis just laid out. I think that if you asked every one of us up here, that we would agree predominantly with what he just laid out. Here's the difference. The difference is that we're going to have to work and make sure that we sell these ideas. and be able to put ourselves in a position where we get a majority of the vote, not only by winning the Congress and the Senate in 24, but also by having someone who's had the experience of doing it. Now, I was elected as a conservative Republican in a blue state with 61% of the vote, with a Democratic legislature against me the entire time. And we still, through hard, strong decision-making, brought them around to our point of view. We cut taxes in New Jersey. We cut debt in New Jersey. We made sure that each and every time we were confronted with bad Democratic ideas, we stood and stopped them. And when there were good ideas, we brought people together to make progress going forward. Truth and accountability are the things we need to do to fight waste. And I'd say the last thing is this, Brett. We cannot sit by any longer and allow the kind of spending that's going on in Washington, because every dollar they spend is a dollar that these people are not allowed to spend on their children and their grandchildren. It's robbing our country, and it's wrong.
Well, Governor, let me just follow up very quickly. New Jersey, when you were governor, had the second lowest credit rating in the nation after Illinois, and it was downgraded 11 times.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what happens when you inherit a blue state that has done that. But when you look at what we did on debt, Brett, in that state, we cut debt in that state, debt that had been left to us by 3 Democratic gubernatorial predecessors of mine who ran up that debt tremendously. And what you also saw us do was to cut the unemployment rate in half. It was over 10% when I became governor in 2010. What we also did was cut pension payments to public employees to make sure that taxpayers were not being soaked by a public employee union system that was killing the taxpayer.
Thank you, Governor.
Tim Scott, Senator Scott, excuse me. The song also goes after welfare programs. As a senator, now President Biden argued for freezing federal spending, this was back in the 80s, and dealing with sacred cows. He does not talk about that anymore. You have been a senator, though, for 10 years. So what have you done to rein in the increasing size of government?
Well, thank you for the question. Over the last several years, I've had an opportunity to vote against spending package after spending package after spending package. What we also need to understand is that Joe Biden's Bidenomics has led to the loss of $10,000 of spending power for the average family. When you see 16% inflation, your gas is up 40%, your food is up 20%, your electricity is up 20%. We can stop that by turning the spigot off at Washington, sending the money back to the states, and allowing the decisions to be made at their own houses. I helped write the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2017. We cut taxes for a single mom like the one that raised me by 70%, for dual households by 60%, returning to the average family $4,000. If you don't send it to Washington, we can't spend it. That's good news for the American people.
Okay, but just to follow up, you did, during the Trump administration, you approved $4.4 trillion, $4.1 trillion, $1.7 trillion over the course of that administration. That's a lot of money.
There's no doubt that during the Trump administration, when we were dealing with the COVID virus, we spent more money. But here's what happened at the end of our time in the majority. We had low unemployment, record low unemployment, 3.5% for the majority of the population, 70-year low for women. African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians had an all-time low, but our inflation was at 2%. Under Joe Biden, we've seen the exact opposite. We've seen inflation explode, which led to 12 Federal Reserve increases that's devastating home buyers today.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you're listening to these answers.
If I may,
hold on one second.
We're going to, I don't know if I get a chance to respond.
He didn't mention you specifically, but we'll be with you in a second, Mr. Vice President. Mr. Ramaswamy, listening to all of this, why should voters choose you over more experienced politicians on this stage? You're basically, a blank slate for people. You're 38 years old. You've said that you only voted in 2 presidential elections before this moment, this political race.
So first, let me just address a question that is on everybody's mind at home tonight. Who the heck is this skinny guy with a funny last name, and what the heck is he doing in the middle of this debate stage? I'll tell you, I'm not a politician, Brett. You're right about that. I'm an entrepreneur. My parents came to this country with no money 40 years ago, I have gone on to found multi-billion-dollar companies. I did it while marrying my wife, Apoorva, raising our 2 sons, following our faith in God. That is the American dream. And I am genuinely worried that that American dream will not exist for our 2 sons and their generation unless we do something about it. And I do think Brett is going to take an outsider, because for a long time we have professional politicians in the Republican Party who have been running from something.
Yep.
Now is our moment to start running to something, to our vision of what it means to be an American today. If you have a broken car, you don't turn over the keys to the people who broke it again. You hand it over to a new generation to actually fix the problem. That's why I'm in this race, and we're just getting warmed up.
Well, sounds like you memorized that speech. Good for you.
What are you better positioned to turn around this economy that we've heard all of these voters talking about tonight than Mr. Ramaswamy, who is a successful entrepreneur nationally right now? He's beating you in the polls.
Well, I don't care about polls. What I care about, the fact is that no one is telling the American people the truth. The truth is that Biden didn't do this to us. Our Republicans did this to us, too. When they passed that $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus bill, they left us with 90 million people on Medicaid, 42 million people on food stamps. No one has told you how to fix it. I'll tell you how to fix it. They need to stop the spending. They need to stop the borrowing. They need to eliminate the earmarks that the Republicans brought back in. And they need to make sure they understand these are taxpayer dollars. It's not their dollars. And while they're all saying this, you have Ron DeSantis, you've got Tim Scott, you've got Mike Pence. They all voted to raise the debt. And Donald Trump added $8 trillion to our debt, and our kids are never going to forgive us for this. And so at the end of the day, you look at the 2024 budget, Republicans asked for $7.4 billion in earmarks. Democrats asked for $2.8 billion. So you tell me who are the big spenders. I think it's time for an accountant in the White House.
Vice President Pence.
Did she just accuse the Republicans of spending too much money?
She did. It's like she's trying to get the Democrat vote.
I know.
54% of voters say the cost of groceries
She's not wrong, though.
a major problem for them.
Right?
You blame the
Not
Biden
on-
administration spending for that increase. But as vice president, your administration spent more than any prior, $7.8 trillion added to the national debt, $3.5 trillion of that before COVID. So does that mean that you're part of the spending problem?
Well, first off, thanks for the question. Thanks for letting me respond to a reference to our administration's record. I'm incredibly proud of the record of the Trump-Pence administration. I mean, in 4 short years, we rebuilt our military. We revived our economy. We unleashed American energy. And we appointed 3 conservatives to the Supreme Court that gave the American people a new beginning for the right to life. Now, Martha, you asked earlier who's the best prepared for this job. And I must tell you, with all due respect to all of my friends on the stage, and even to one that's probably looking on, I think unquestionably I am the best prepared, the most tested, the most qualified and proven conservative in this race. I was a leader in the Congress of the United States. I led Indiana, where we balanced budgets and had a AAA bond rating when I was governor. And as Vice President of the United States, we spent funding to backfill on the military cuts of the Obama administration, and then we were there in the worst pandemic in 100 years. All that being said, I was the first person in this race to say that we've got to deal with the long-term national debt issues. You got people on this stage that won't even talk about issues like Social Security and Medicare. I mean, Vivek, you recently said a president can't do everything. Well, I got news for you, Vivek. I've been in the hallway. I've been in the West Wing. A president of the United States has to confront every crisis facing America. I will put our nation back on the path to growth and prosperity and restore fiscal responsibility, just as I did in Congress and as governor and when I was vice president.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hold on. You were named earlier. I'm going to get Vivek first.
We'll get to both of them.
This isn't that complicated, guys. Unlock American energy. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear. Put people back to work by no longer paying them more to stay at home. Reform the U.S. Fed, stabilize the U.S. dollar, and go to war. The only war that I will declare as U.S. president will be the war on the federal administrative state that is the source of those toxic regulations acting like a wet blanket on the economy. So I'm not sure I exactly understood Mike Pence's comment, but I'll let you all parse
for
that out.
deregulation.
For me, it's pretty simple. That's something a
Set
U.S.
America
president
on
can
fire,
do
get the
with
insurance
focus,
money.
and
Got
I'll
it.
deliver
Got
on
it.
Let me explain it to you. Let me explain it to you, Vivek, if I can. I'll go slower this time.
I sometimes struggle with the reading
Look,
comprehension.
I was a House conservative leader before it was cool. I actually pushed the Deficit Reduction Act. That was the last time we actually reduced the national debt in the United States when I was the leader of House conservatives. I balanced budgets and cut taxes when I was governor. I mean, look, Joe Biden has weakened this country at home and abroad. Now is not the time for on-the-job training. We don't need to bring in a rookie. We don't need to bring in people without experience. We need to bring
It's 30 seconds when you have a rebuttal, okay? And you are up, Governor DeSantis.
So here's the thing. Why are we in this mess? Part of it, and a major reason, is because how this federal government handled COVID-19 by locking down this economy. It was a mistake. It should have never happened. And in Florida, we led the country out of lockdown. We kept our state free and open. And I can tell you this, as your president, I will never let the deep state bureaucrats lock you down.
Oh, there it is.
You don't take somebody like Fauci and coddle him.
Mhm.
You bring Fauci in, you sit him down, and you say, Anthony, you are fired.
Wow. Can't believe he said that. Cheesy cheese ball. He's a meatball.
I just want to respond to Mike for 1 second because he invoked me back. Listen, now that everybody's gotten their memorized, pre-prepared slogans out of the way, we can actually have a real discussion now. The reality of the
He was
fact of the
king of that.
Was that one of yours?
Not really, Mike.
Yeah, right.
We're just going to have some fun tonight. And the reality is, you have a bunch of people, professional politicians, super PAC puppets, following slogans handed over to them by their 400-page super PACs last week. The real choice we face in this primary is this. Do you want a super PAC puppet, or do you want a patriot who speaks the truth? Do you want incremental reform, which is what you're hearing about, or do you want revolution?
Okay.
And I stand on the side of the
Whoa.
American revolution.
But it's
Really, he's trying to out-Trump Trump.
I know. But if the left says revolution, oh my God.
There are two people
Right?
who have not
They'd be like, oh, they're trying to do communist Russia.
There are two
Right.
people who we have not heard from yet, so let's hear from Governor Burgum and then from Governor Hutchinson on the economy, sir.
Well, great. Thank you, Martha. And of course, I'm from a town
Oh,
of
he's
300
there,
people.
too.
It's a big deal to make it on this stage with all these folks. But when they were all wishing me well, and I think I took them a little too literally when they said, go to Milwaukee and break a leg. But I do want to say on this, we're missing something. We can't just talk about the Biden economy because the economy, energy, and national security are all tied together. Of course, we're paying too much for our energy in our state, in our country right now. But part of the reason why is because of the Biden policies on energy. We've got a plan right now, the $1.2 trillion of Green New Deal spending buried in the Inflation Creation Act is something that is just subsidizing China. If we're going to stop buying oil from the Middle East and start buying batteries from China, we're just trading OPEC for Sinopec. And then belatedly, the Biden administration says, no, we're going to put sanctions on Russian oil. Well, we put sanctions on Russian oil, well, then it's 20% off. Who's buying it? China. So if you buy a battery in this country, you buy a solar panel, it's being produced in a plant in China powered by coal, or it's being powered by oil and gas at 20% off. And every farmer in this country would like to buy diesel at 20% off, just like they're buying it in China.
Governor Hutchinson, quickly.
He didn't say it right. China.
Right.
Delighted to be here tonight. And let me just tell you that I'm a pro-life governor from a conservative state that have
but
a
not the most
conservative
pro-life.
record in which I lowered taxes in Arkansas as governor. I created a $2 billion surplus that I passed over to my successor, and I made sure that we shrunk the size of government. We have 14% fewer state employees in Arkansas after I left government than when I took over as governor 8 years ago.
on.
I tell that because that's what we need in Washington, D.C. We need somebody who can actually constrain the growth of the federal government, that can actually reduce the size, and I've pledged to reduce by 10% our
Should we
federal
be pausing this?
defense workforce. That's
I
a
mean,
specific
we can at
pledge
any
to
time
make
to
that
discuss
attacks the
what they're saying.
administrative state. And let me
And then just
applaud some of the
restart.
business partners that are here that have had success in business. But let me tell you, I've been a federal prosecutor I've served our country in terms of being head of the DEA, in Homeland Security, in times of crisis. And while I think that that's experience that is important for the future of our country, to be the President of the United States that can lead with positive solutions and be held accountable.
Thank you. We have a lot of topics to get to, and I promise we're going to get to everyone if we play within the rules. Okay, next topic. More than 1,000 people are still unaccounted for in Maui after the deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than a century. Hawaii's governor and White House officials said that climate change amplified the cost of human error.
And a tropical storm hit California for the first time in 84 years. The ocean hit 101 degrees off the coast of Florida. And in the last month, the heat wave in the Southwest broke records nearly 50 years old.
So Alexander Diaz from Young America's Foundation has a question for you.
Polls consistently show that young people's #1 issue is climate change. How will you, as both President of the United States and leader of the Republican Party, calm their fears that the Republican Party doesn't care about climate change?
So we want to start on this with a show of hands. Do you believe in human behavior is causing climate change? Raise your hand if you do.
Look, we're not school children. Let's have the debate. I mean, I'm happy to take it to start. Alexander?
So do you want to raise your hand or not?
Why did he do that?
So let me just say to Alexander this. First of all, one of the reasons our country's decline is because of the way the corporate media treats Republicans versus Democrats. Biden was on the beach while those people were suffering. He was asked about it. He said, no comment. Are you kidding me? As somebody that's handled disasters in Florida, you got to be activated. You've got to be there. You've got to be present. You've got to be helping people who are doing this.
And answer the question?
And here's the deal.
Let's just answer the question.
So is that a yes or is that a yes? Is that a hand raise?
You do not.
I think it was a hand raise for him, and it's my hands are in my pockets.
No, I didn't raise a hand.
Let us be honest as Republicans. I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax.
Oh, there we go. Hey, we got a bingo.
We got that. You can go ahead and mark deep state while you're at it too.
Okay.
They definitely mentioned that earlier.
And so the reality is more people are dying of bad climate change policies than they are of actual climate change.
Governor Haley, are you
Where is it?
Oh, bottom left.
Oh, I'm the most pro-life kind of. There it is. We got it. Pro-life.
Hold on.
Had enough.
Well, he didn't
I've
say
had enough
most.
already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT standing up here.
No.
The last person
That
in
other
one of
guy,
these debates,
right?
Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage
Well,
and
yeah,
said,
he just said
"What's
he's a
skinny
pro-life
guy
candidate.
with an
He didn't
odd
say he was
last
the
name
most one
doing
on
up
the
here
stage.
Oh,
was
okay.
Barack Obama."
Okay.
And I'm
All right,
afraid
so
we're dealing with the
let's
same
be-
type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
Give me a hug just like you did to Obama.
Same type of amateur.
And you'll help elect me just like you did to Obama, too. Give me that bear hug.
Type of
That just makes a weird face.
Hold on. Governor Haley,
Denial of
would you
climate
like to
change.
respond?
Boom.
Are you
So,
bought and
Brett,
paid
what
for?
I would like to say is the fact that I think this is exactly why Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman.
Nothing there.
First of all, we do care about clean air, clean water. We want to see that taken care of, but there's a right way to do it. And the right way to do it is, first of all, yes, is climate change real? Yes, it is. But if you want to go and really change the environment, then we need to start telling China and India that they have to lower their emissions. That's where our problem is. And these green subsidies that Biden has put in, all he's done is help China, because he doesn't understand all these electric vehicles that he's done.
I'm not
what
sure
that
anyone else
does,
is gonna
half of the batteries for
actually
electric
admit to
vehicles are
global
made
warming
in
or,
China.
climate
And
change.
so
Yeah,
that's not
I'm
helping
surprised
the
she is.
environment. You're putting money in
right?
China's pocket, and
she's like
Biden did
going
that.
2-0
So,
for,
first of all, I think we need to
surprising
acknowledge
statements.
the truth, which is these subsidies are not working. We also need to take on the international world and say, okay, India and China, you've got to stop polluting, and that's when we'll start to deal with
Senator
climate
Scott, are
change.
you bought and paid for?
Absolutely.
Are you bought and paid for?
I'm sorry?
Are you bought and paid
Absolutely not. I mean, here's what the American people deserve is a debate about the issues that affect their lives. Going back and forth, being childish is not helpful to the American people to decide on the next leader of our country. Number one.
But that's who they voted for last
Number
time.
two,
Somebody who
as
was
a kid
back
who
and
grew up
forth
in
as
a
child.
single-parent household mired in poverty, I wondered, was the American dream real for kids who were devastated by poverty, devastated by the challenges of life, I came to the conclusion that America can do for anyone what she's done for me if we focus on restoring hope, creating opportunities, and protecting America. If we want the environment to be better, and we all do, the best thing to do is to bring our jobs home from China. If we create 10 million new jobs in my Made in America plan, we will have a better economy and a better environment. Let me tell you why I say that, Brett. America,
do it quickly.
America has cut. I'm a Southern boy, I talk slow. So America
Too late.
That was quick. America has cut
Oh my God.
our carbon footprint in half in the last 25 years. The places where they are continuing to increase, Africa, 950 million people. India, over 1 billion. China, over 1 billion. Why would we put ourselves at a disadvantage, devastating our own economy? Let's bring our jobs home.
We have a lot of different topics to get to.
Yeah, we do. We thank you all. Thank you, Senator Scott. So coming up next, the candidates will weigh in on what could be a defining issue in the 2024 campaign. The first Republican debate continues moments away.
Oh, commercial break. Cool.
Oh, cool. Good.
Yeah. So yeah, literally 2 candidates actually answered the question. And the rest were just like,
smarter in how we talk about women,
you know,
and how we show them that we care.
We're going to stand up for the
Oh my God, Lindsey Graham.
And if you cannot do
Haven't
that,
seen him in a
you should
while.
not be the nominee for
Right?
the Republican Party. This is a defining moment.
yeah. But I will say,
Do
when
you trust
Pence
our
was
government
talking,
and where the
I was
economy is
actually
heading?
more
Does the
appreciating
thought of losing
the position that he's in right now, because he has to say, "Oh yeah, the administration I was a part of with Trump was fantastic,
Right.
but I'm somehow better than Trump, though." So
Mhm.
you know, just we can't actually attribute everything to him somehow. We have to attribute it to me as a vice president. I can't think of a time that we've ever had a vice president running against the president that they were under
Mm-hmm.
to have to make that argument. So I think he's just screwed.
Pence? Oh, he doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah. Like,
Pence.
I think he's trying to be like, Trump was the most amazing president ever. Oh, but 6 months from now, when he goes to jail, that's why we can't have him. Like, he was a great president, but he's in jail, so that's why it's got to be me.
The whole thing about this debate to me is it's like Trump, unless Trump gets kicked out somehow, barred from running for president, he's still the favorite, even with all the indictments and everything else. In fact, it's just boosting him because people that vote for Donald Trump are paranoid conspiracy theorists for the most part.
Exactly.
Or if they weren't before, they're getting there now because of shit like this, not because there's a reason to. It's just because this kind of thing is driving them to that mentality. It's exacerbating the problem. But it has to be done, so you have to deal with this. And the Republican Party is just kind of like, well, Trump is leaning into it. But and people are going, I think people might tune into this, yeah, because there's 257,000 people watching. That's pretty good for a live stream, especially on Rumble,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, considering this is, other than Fox News, this is the only option to watch it.
Right.
You know, that they do kind of, well, I mean, I guess you could watch it on YouTube for the commentators that are doing it, kind of like, you know, we are.
Right. You
Sure.
could. But again, the whole thing with this is that it's, people are going to vote, unless Trump gets, pushed away, everyone's just going to vote for him anyway. So the party is probably trying to say, or people are tuning in to say, okay, well, just in case we can't vote for Trump, we got to pick somebody else. So,
right.
And who the hell's that going to be? DeSantis isn't been doing well.
Yeah, and I will say, so far in the debate, it doesn't seem like he's doing well either.
No, and if you, Russell Brand, yeah, he's a conservative nut job now too, more conspiratorial than anything. But it's, what was I gonna say? It's just, I don't really think. Well, I was also gonna say, if you've noticed, you know what hasn't been mentioned yet? Policy of any kind.
Right. Oh, there's been pretty much unanimous support of lower taxes to fix the economy.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's a standardized. That's like get the
I know,
libertarians, get the conservatives. Yeah, of course, because they know that they have to feed meat to their base. So that's their line.
Yeah, I mean that's the one and only solution.
Right.
And then when it doesn't work, then it's like, but we lowered the taxes though.
Right.
And
So they lowered
I
the
guess that means we lower more?
Right. So they'll lower taxes to cut Social Security and Medicare, something like that. But then as a result of that, people will start to lose their Social Security over time and Medicare, and then they'll have to actually pay for it, which they'll actually be paying for, costing them more than what they were ever paying in taxes. But because it's not going to the government, I swear, I mean, people would say like, oh, well, it's either you pay like $10,000 or you pay $100,000. But one goes to the $100,000 goes to the government, and the $10,000, or the $10,000 goes to the government, the $100,000 would go to private corporations. They'd rather do that.
Yep.
Anyway, here we go.
Upheld abortion rights in this country.
Here we go.
Even in red states, there are more swing state referendums that are coming up as we head into the elections as well on this. So, Governor Haley, what do you say to your party and to your state, which today confirmed a 6-week abortion law as well, especially the impact on women suburban voters across this country?
Thank you, Martha. I am unapologetically pro-life, not because the Republican Party tells me to be, but because my husband was adopted and I had trouble having both of my children, so I'm surrounded by blessings. Having said that, we need to stop demonizing this issue. This is talking about the fact that unelected justices didn't need to decide something this personal, because it's personal for every woman and man. Now it's been put in the hands of the people. That's great. When it comes to a federal ban, let's be honest with the American people and say it will take 60 Senate votes. It will take a majority of the House. So in order to do that, let's find consensus. Can't we all agree that we should ban late-term abortions? Can't we all agree that we should encourage adoptions? Can't we all agree that doctors and nurses who don't believe in abortion shouldn't have to perform them? Can't we all agree that contraception should be available? And can't we all agree that we are not going to put a woman in jail or give her the death penalty if she gets an abortion? Let's treat this like a respectful issue that it is, and humanize the situation and stop demonizing the situation.
Brett, Governor, you're not mentioned, Vice President Pence. Governor DeSantis, you signed a 6-week
Don't ask
abortion
Pence.
ban in Florida.
Right.
One of your biggest financial backers said that you need to, quote,
Jesus.
shift to get moderates or you will lose. What do you say to him and others who say politically that is a tough thing to sell nationally?
Well, I would say we sold the biggest election landslide victory in the history of the Republican Party in the state of Florida in 2022. That's what I did. We can win. But second of all, look, you got to do what you think is right. I believe in a culture of life. I was proud to sign the heartbeat bill. I remember one of the most impactful moments of my life was when I heard the heartbeat of my oldest daughter in my wife's womb, and then saw the sonograms of all 3 of my kids. What the Democrats are trying to do on this issue is wrong, to allow abortion all the way up to the moment of birth.
That is
I know a
not
lady
true.
in Florida named Penny. She
That's a lie.
survived multiple abortion attempts. She was left discarded in a pan. Fortunately, her grandmother saved her and brought her to a different hospital. We're better than what the Democrats are selling. We are not going to allow abortion all the way up till birth, and we will hold them accountable for their extremism.
But just to be clear, Governor, would you sign a 6-week ban federally?
I'm going to stand on the side of life. Look, I understand Wisconsin is going to do it different than Texas. I understand Iowa and New Hampshire are going to do different. But I will support the cause of life as governor and
He
as
won't
president.
he won't answer a specific
You're shaking
question.
your
We must
head.
have a national.
Hold on, Senator. Vice President Pence. You're shaking your head.
Well, look, I'm not new to this cause. After I gave my life to Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, I opened up the book and I read, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And see, I set before you life and
there's
death,
the quotes.
blessings and curses. Now choose life." And I knew from that moment on, the cause of life had to be my cause. And I've been a champion for life in the Congress, a champion for life as governor,
Unless
and as
it
vice
comes to-
president. And to be honest with you, Nikki, you're my friend, but consensus is the opposite of leadership.
Whoa.
When the Supreme Court
Okay.
returned this question to the American people, they didn't just send it to the states only. It's not a states only issue, it's a moral issue. And I promise you, as President of the United States, the American people will have a champion for life in the Oval Office. Can't we have a minimum standard in every state in the nation that says when a baby is capable of feeling pain, an abortion cannot be allowed? A 15-week ban is an idea whose time has come. It's supported by 70% of the American people, but it's going to take unapologetic leadership that stands on principle and expresses compassion for women in crisis pregnancies. I'll do that.
I think that
as
counts as
President of the
National
United
Abortion Day.
States.
Called my name,
Yeah.
so I want to respond to that.
30 seconds.
So
Go ahead and
first of
mark
all,
that
I will
one.
say it is in the hands of the people, and that's where it should be. But when you're talking about a federal ban, be honest with the American people. We haven't had 45 pro-life senators in over 100 years, so no Republican president can ban abortions any more than a Democrat president could ban all those state laws. Don't make women feel like they have to decide on this issue when you know we don't have 60 Senate votes in the House.
70% of the American people support legislation
But
to ban
70% of
abortion
the
after
Senate
a baby is
does
capable
not.
of experiencing pain.
You know what?
It's just going to take leadership.
Hold on.
70% of the Senate does not. You have to be honest with the
We have
American
to have
people.
a 15-week
All right,
limit.
let's get Governor Bergman for one minute here.
Ooh.
But the Supreme Court
Oh,
did
jeez.
overturn Roe v. Wade, and the result of that decision was that it went back to the states. So that's where it is right now. So as I understand it, you are not in favor of a federal ban. What do you say about the states? There's about 5 of them, including New Jersey, I think a few others, that allow abortion up until the time of birth, though. If you were president, would you be able to abide that?
Well, first of all, I'm a pro-life governor of a very pro-life state. And this issue is, of course, very important. But I am on the record, and I stand behind that we should not have a federal abortion ban. We should not. And the reason why we shouldn't is very simple. It's the 10th Amendment in the Constitution. In the Constitution, which the states created the federal government, not the other way around, it says that there were certain duties allowed to the federal government delegated to them by the states. The rest are left to the states, comma, or importantly, or to the people. We need to get back to freedom and liberty for the people in this country. And we can't have Republicans who fight for 50 years for this great cause to return it back to the states, and then the next day they turn around and go, no, the feds should do that, because the feds are stepping into people's lives, they're stepping into people's businesses over and over. If we say that the feds should be in on this one, where do we stop? I say that we follow the Constitution, and this is returned to the states. This is where it should be.
But Governor Burgum, you signed a 6-week ban. Time out. You signed a 6-week ban. Governor Burgum, you signed a 6-week ban, so you're saying federally it's all going to go to the states.
Yes, and what is going to work in New York will never work in North Dakota, and vice versa. That's
Governor
why 50
Asa
states.
Hutchinson,
That's why
right
50
here.
states.
This is too important of an issue that I have to address. First of all, the Supreme Court gave it back to the elected representatives, whether it's the states or whether it's the United States Congress. So there is authority, and that's why President Biden is pushing for a Democrat proposal, which is, in essence, abortion on demand through the term. So they have their extreme position at a national level. It's most likely going to be addressed in the states, but it's certainly fine for it to be addressed at the national level as well. Arkansas has the record of being the most pro-life state in the nation. I signed 30 pro-life pieces of legislation while I was governor. And every state can determine a different outcome here. And it is the most important issue for women and for the unborn child and for our country that we get this right. It's going to be a continued debate. Let's talk about it in terms of compassion, in terms of protecting the life, and also understanding how we have to enhance adoption services, how we have to enhance maternal care. Those things we've done in Arkansas and are important for our nation's future.
There are a lot of issues that are very important. Senator, I'll let you weigh in.
We cannot let states like California, New York, and Illinois have abortions on demand up until the day of birth. That is immoral, it is unethical, it is wrong. We must have a president of the United States who will advocate.
I hope
and
that
fight
straw
for
man doesn't put up too much of a fight for him.
15-week
Mhm.
limit. I am 100%.
I was trying to see, like, does that true? Can you do that up to birth?
Pro-life record. I got to tell you,
I think it's one of those
must
like
fight
being
for
twisted because
life.
you can have
Our
like medical
Declaration of
issues or other things that say this
to
has to
our
happen.
Creator
Often
gave
because the
us inalienable
fetus,
rights
child,
that
whatever, however you want to
include
term
life.
it medically,
That is a list. That is an issue
like
we
stillborn.
must solve.
Right.
We can't leave
So
it to
it's one of those
Illinois.
things. It's
We
like,
can't
well,
leave it to
yes,
Minnesota.
technically
We
you are
can't leave it to
performing an
Illinois.
abortion,
We must solve
basically
that issue
at that
with a
point,
15-week
but
limit
also
at a minimum.
technically
Brent,
the
I
baby
think we're
is
all
not going to be
pro-life,
born
but what
alive.
I would love is for someone to
So-
ask Biden and Kamala Harris, are they for 38 weeks? Are they for 39 weeks? Are they for
And
40 weeks?
Republicans
Because
won't
that's
put
what
an
the media
exception to
needs to
that.
be asking.
All right, another issue is America and the crime crisis, the homelessness crisis. American cities are in decline. People are moving out as homelessness, drugs, crime move in. There are problems accelerated. They did accelerate during the pandemic and are still rising, actually.
Murders in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, all up 30% between 2019 and 2022. Homelessness is up 11%, the largest jump in recorded history. Vice President Pence, a lot of this began in the COVID era. How much of what we're seeing happening around this country is a result of those COVID lockdowns, and is your administration in part to blame for how we got here?
Well, I think what's in part to blame is the Democrats have been talking about defunding the police for the last 5 years. And we ought to be funding law enforcement, particularly in our major cities, at unprecedented levels. I mean, it's extraordinary to think about the violence that's claiming innocent lives literally every week in every major city in this country. And yet Democrats and liberal prosecutors in major metropolitan areas continue to work out their fanciful agendas, to do bail reform and go easy. What we need is strong commitment to law enforcement. We need leadership in Washington, D.C. that'll marshal the resources of the states, marshal the resources of the American people. But let me also say it's about opportunity. I mean, a lot of people don't know that those Trump-Pence tax cuts that we got signed into law go away at the end of 2025 if we don't have a Republican president and a Republican House and a Republican Senate. When I'm president of the United States, we're actually going to cut taxes further. We're going to extend those tax cuts.
Oh, great.
And we're going to close
More-
the Federal Department of Education.
What?
Block grant all that funding
There we go.
to
There it
the
is.
states with a
Is that a
growing
bingo? No.
economy
Was that a
and
mark?
educational
No.
choice and
No,
law
no.
enforcement. We will bring our cities back.
Governor Christie, another
It's
issue
more like a
this
liberal
weekend.
talking.
National abortion ban, they brought that up, though.
Reports say there were
Oh, yeah.
30
Oh, yeah.
shootings, and a number of them including kids. Add that to the big increase in school shootings around the country. Democrats blame this crisis on easy access to guns. They also blame Republicans for blocking gun control legislation. What would President Christie do?
You know, I'm proud of the fact, Brett, that I'm the only person, along with Governor Hutchinson, up on this stage who's actually running United States Attorney's Office. I ran the 5th largest office in America in a state where there is significant urban crime. And the problem is not going to be solved by more money. The problem is that these prosecutors in these localities in the states are refusing to do their job and to arrest violent criminals. So what a President Christie would do is appoint an attorney general who would instruct each of the 93 U.S. attorneys that they are to take over the prosecution of violent crime in every one of those cities that are failing to do so. We have plenty of room in the federal prisons to lock up these violent criminals and clean up what's going on all across this country in these individual cities. Secondly, what we need to make sure that each and every one of these criminals understand is that the laws apply to everybody. And when Hunter Biden fills out a fake application, a false application for a gun permit, and then is facing a 10-year mandatory minimum, which was mandated by legislation sponsored by his father, and then you have a Justice Department that walks away from those charges, we're telling people that the law doesn't apply to everybody. In a Christie administration, he would go to jail for 10 years.
What about a President Ramaswamy? What does a President Ramaswamy
What about the
do
issue
about
of
guns?
how easy it is to get
So
a
the
gun by
reality is we
lying
have a
on that
crime rate
form?
in this country, and we know how to fix it. The question is, do we actually have the
Maybe
spine
that should
to
be
do
the
it?
thing you're highlighting.
More cops in the
Right.
streets who are on the streets, able to do their jobs without looking over their shoulder for getting sued. And we also have a mental health epidemic in this country. Just over the same period that we have closed mental health institutions, we have seen a spike in violent crime. Do we have the spine to bring him back? I think we should. As president, I will. But it's not just drugging up people in those psychiatric institutions with Zoloft and Seroquel. It's a deeper issue. I think faith-based approaches can play a role here, too. We're in the middle of a national identity crisis. And I say this as a member of my generation. The problem in our country right now, the reason we have that mental health epidemic, is that people are so hungry for purpose and meaning at a time when family, faith, patriotism, hard work have all disappeared. What we really need is a tonal reset from the top, saying that this is what it means to be an American. Yes, we will stand for the rule of law. Yes, we will close the southern border where criminals are coming in every day. And yes, we will back law enforcement because we remember who we really are. And that's also how we address that mental health epidemic in the next generation that is directly leading to violent crime across this country.
Governor DeSantis, really quickly. Governor DeSantis.
We don't have an identity crisis with that. We're not looking for a new national identity. The American people are the most faith-filled, freedom-loving, idealistic, hardworking people the world has ever known. We just need government as good as our people.
Well, Mike, I think the difference is you might have
Isn't that
some
the way
others
it's supposed to
like you
work,
may
though?
have on the stage. It's Morning in America speech. It is not Morning in America. We live in a dark moment, and we have to confront the fact that we're in an internal
Maybe the
sort of
government is a
cold
reflection of the
cultural
people.
civil war, and we have to
Equating the
recognize
American
that
people with the
Wouldn't that
failed
be nice?
government in Washington,
right.
D.C. We just need government as good as our people again.
So let me just finish addressing that slogan because I don't know what that slogan means.
Okay, so get rid of the Electoral College.
That's actually how we translate it.
Crime has been on the rise in Florida, Governor DeSantis. How do you stop crime?
Well,
I
actually,
don't agree
crime's
with
at a
that, but
50-year low
Not
in
in-
Florida.
not in Miami.
We're happy with that. Well, the statewide, it's a 50-year low. And so here's the thing. These hollowed out cities, this is a symptom
His
of
answer was
America's
nuh-uh.
decline. And one of the biggest reasons because you have George Soros funding these radical
No policy
left-wing
points yet.
district attorneys. They get into office
Right.
and they say they're not going to prosecute crimes.
Oh, but
They
lower
disagree
taxes
with the
in
inmates
answer
start
to
running the
things not
asylum.
related
There's
to the
one
economy.
guy in this entire country that's ever done anything about that. Me. When we had two of these district attorneys in Florida elected with Soros funding who said they
Well,
wouldn't do
national
their
abortion ban,
job,
you call that
I
policy.
removed them from
We'll
their
go to
posts. They are gone.
True.
And as president, we are going to go after all of these people because they are hurting the quality of life and they are victimizing innocent people in every corner of this country, and it will stop when I get into office.
Okay, one more here before the break, Governor Berger.
Who are they talking about? It's just
Reverend
rand.
Martha,
It's
I just thought it was
vague.
interesting. You asked your question about the problems we're having in big cities. Nobody ever asked the question of what about the crime wave in small towns? Because in a small town, neighbors help neighbors. People understand each other. If a farmer gets sick, everybody comes together and helps him get the crop off. There's accountability, there's transparency. One thing that I think this country could use is somebody in the White House that understands small town values, because that's our road back to get this country on track again.
Governor Hutchinson?
As former head of the DEA, I understand the drug crisis in America.
Oh,
and
boy.
right now, whenever you look at the challenges in our inner city, there's three simple words that would be helpful. One, enforce the law when it comes to crime. Secondly, let's deal with the challenge of fentanyl. And it's both about stopping the fentanyl coming from Mexico, but it's also about education of our young people, making sure that we have the tools that are needed for addiction counseling. That's what we expanded in Arkansas as well. Whenever you look at the underlying challenge of America, though, no one likes to see an America with smash and grab in our inner cities. As President of the United States, that will stop. It starts at the top with the respect for our justice system that a former president who's under indictment has undermined by attacking judges, by attacking prosecutors, by attacking the system and saying he's aggrieved. And so we have to have respect for our justice system and the rule of law, and it starts at the top with the President of the United States.
Thank you. Hold on.
Take a break.
Wow, they're really going out of their way not to say his name.
Speaking of that, right now you
I know,
are
right?
looking live at Fulton County Jail, where former President Donald Trump will be processed tomorrow. So next, the candidates will have an opportunity to talk about the coming
Oh,
trial
break
for
time.
Donald Trump.
Okay. Yay, break
Well,
time.
As the break starts, we'll go ahead and just mark Donald Trump because it's inevitable that they speak about him at this point.
Okay. we got Mark Donald Trump. Where is he?
Top
Defense.
left.
Top left. Okay, here we go.
And we got to get ready for defends Donald Trump because one of them's going to do it.
One of them's going to do it, yeah. So it's been pretty, I'm surprised they haven't mentioned some of this stuff.
I know, right? Some of these things are pretty, like, standard talking points. Like wokeness as a general concept, they haven't bashed that yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm really shocked. But anyway, here's something interesting I found. Now, I know if anybody right-wing saw this, they wouldn't take it seriously because it's from PolitiFact. But just for full disclosure, PolitiFact is created by this institute, the Poynter Institute.
Sure.
They're down in St. Petersburg, Florida, Tampa school. People on the board are the people, the guy that founded Craigslist, the Bill Gates Foundation or whatever, or Bill Gates himself is on the board. And they're part of this, and they're about media literacy and all of this stuff. So no one's ever going to take it seriously on the right. But I'm trying to find every single thing I can find about the New Jersey abortion issue. It's all just there's no details about it at all. Right? Late-term abortions are rare. However, nationally, less than 1% of abortions are performed after 21 weeks.
Yep. Yeah, that third point right there.
Yeah, experts say late. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I was pretty sure that that's correct. Correct. Late-term abortions are not elective and are done only for medical reasons involving the mother or fetus, and that abortions are not done at full term. So what the Republicans want to do is they want to have a national abortion ban, whether it's 15 weeks or whatever. It doesn't matter. They could say, oh, you can't do it. You can't have an abortion at all, which means if something happens medically and the mother then has to die.
I mean, we've already been experiencing that here in Texas since they implemented the law here before even Roe v. Wade was gone. That they were saying like, oh yeah, there's like we medically know we have to do an abortion, unfortunately, because of the complications and the baby's not going to survive. But you're not sick enough yet. We need to wait until you're like a medical emergency to where you're like within 24 hours of dying on us, and then at that point we can intervene because it'll be a true emergency.
Right.
Like what world are we living in where that makes sense?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like if the vast majority of Republicans were medical doctors and they came to this realization based on their background knowledge, okay, fine. But they're not. It's like this is an issue that should be kept in that realm of speak with your medical practitioner, and like even if you just have to make an exception. Granted, are you going to get some doctors that are like, hey, I think that to be on the safe side, we should probably go ahead and do it if that's what you're wanting to do, and whatever. It's like fine, but on the other hand, I'm all pro-choice anyway. But I could see that argument being made why they would have concerns. But I think that the punishing people to have real medical issues for no reason is it goes against the Hippocratic Oath, if nothing else.
Right.
And why would we have a law that actually tells doctors you have to, disobey the Hippocratic Oath?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I forget which one candidate had it, but they gave the story about like, oh yeah, somebody had like an abortion and the baby was in the pan and the grandmother rushed the baby to another hospital and saved it. What? Yeah, we literally heard them say that.
They said that. I must have missed it.
Yeah, I forget which candidate said it, but one of them made that argument, and I was even thinking like, are you insane? I don't think it works that way at all.
No. I don't think so. Not to my knowledge.
Like, not a medical doctor myself, so can't say. But it just doesn't sound, remotely plausible.
Well, we have a lot to get to in this second hour of this GOP primary debate. Policy discussions.
Well,
the Americans
was it the guy with the white hair?
China,
God, I don't
Ukraine,
remember.
immigration, education.
Thankfully, this is recorded. I can find
But we
out.
are going to take a brief
Right?
moment and talk about the elephant not in the room.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Former President Trump
Wow,
has
that was a
been
dig, huh?
indicted in 4 different states on 91 counts. He will be processed tomorrow in Georgia at the Fulton County Jail for charges relating to the 2020 election loss.
You all signed a pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee. If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him
Here we
as
go.
your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
I guess. Oh, here we go. He's not. Oh, well, one guy not.
Only one guy on the far left.
Just,
Hand down.
so just to be clear, Governor Christie, you were kind of late to the game there, but you raised your hand?
No, I'm doing this. Look, I'm doing this.
And
not
I know
this.
you didn't.
Whoa. No, come.
Oh,
What's
okay.
no, look, here's the bottom line. Someone's got to stop normalizing this conduct. Okay? Now, whether or not you believe that the criminal charges are right or wrong, the conduct is beneath the office of President of the United States.
That's fair.
That's fair. There's a lot of booze, though.
And
Yeah.
you know, this is the great thing about this country. Booing is allowed, but it doesn't change the truth. It doesn't change the truth.
Mr. Ramaswamy,
Wow.
you raised
It
your
was
hand,
nice
Mr.
seeing you, Chris
Gordon.
Christie. Too bad you won't make
I'd
the
like
second
to
debate.
get in
Yeah.
and respond. Let's just speak the truth, okay? President Trump, I believe, was the best president of the 21st century. It's a fact.
Well, he's only comparing to what, 3?
Honest to God,
No,
your claim that
2.
Donald Trump is
Yeah, 3.
motivated
And he's
by
one of them.
violence and grievance would be a lot
Right.
more credible if your entire
'Cause he's the
campaign
only
were
Republican.
not
Right.
based
No, wait.
on
No, I
vengeance
forgot
and
about Bush.
grievance against
1, 2, 3, 4, I guess, with Biden.
People at home want to see a bunch of people blindly bashing Donald Trump without an iota of vision for this country. They could just change the channel to MSNBC right now. But I'm not running for president of MSNBC. I am running for president of the United States. We're skating on thin ice, and we cannot set a precedent where the party in power uses police force to indict its political opponents. It is wrong. We have to end the weaponization
And there's
of
the fence.
justice.
And there's the defense. Okay, there we go.
No, I'm sorry, 30 seconds, Governor
You
Christie.
make me laugh because
Goes
you
both ways, brother.
sit here in an answer. You sit here in an answer right.
Hold on one second.
You sit here in an answer.
Go ahead, Governor
on.
Christie.
Hold on, Governor Christie.
Hold on.
Usually they tell the audience to shut the fuck
So
up.
listen, the more time we spend doing this, the less time they can talk about issues you want to talk about. So let's just get through this section. Governor Christie.
You sit here talking about how you want to stand up for the rule of law.
Yes.
And law and order. And the fact is that it can't be selective. In your book, you had much different things to say about Donald Trump than you're saying here tonight.
That's not true.
Well, it is very true.
That is not
It's
true.
very true. I read it,
Because
and
there's
I
a
know.
difference
Look,
between bad behavior and illegal
by the way,
behavior, Chris, and you as a
by the way,
prosecutor should know
yeah,
better.
Yeah, you know what? I know a lot
There's
better.
a difference between bad behavior. And
I know a lot better than you do. You've never done it like you've never done anything to try to advance the interests of this government except to put yourself forward as a candidate tonight. And here's the thing. We've stood up for law and order. I did it as U.S. attorney. I did it as governor. And I am not going to bow to anyone when we have a president of the United States who disrespects the Constitution. He said,
Get your MSNBC contributors
he
to
said,
funds. Because these are
he
politicized
said,
indictments, and we have to call out the truth.
Martha, it's important to say that the president said, Donald Trump said, it's okay to suspend the Constitution. Now, the oath you take is to preserve, protect, and defend, not suspend. I will always stand up for our Constitution regardless of the political pressure.
We have another question for you. We're going to get everyone in on this issue, but I have another question.
shoot.
I have another question. Hold on, you will.
Not going to see him the next
so
debate. I think that's the end
President
of his career.
Trump's former
Yeah.
vice president is on this stage tonight. He has faced hecklers on the campaign trail over his actions on January the 6th. On that day, the vice president moved forward with the certification of the election. So do you believe that Mike Pence did the right thing, Senator Scott? Do you believe he did the right thing?
Absolutely. He did the right thing. Number one. Number two, we should be asking ourselves a bigger question about the weaponization of the Department of Justice. When I'm president, the first thing I'll do is fire Merrick Garland. Second thing I'll do, fire Christopher Wray, because we need Lady Justice to wear a blindfold. Without that, no one has confidence in our justice system. 17% of Republicans have confidence in our Department of Justice. Here's why. We keep seeing not only the weaponization of the Department of Justice against political opponents, but also against parents who show up at school board meetings. They're called, under this DOJ, they're called domestic terrorists.
Firing Christopher Wray,
that's not
shut down the FBI. Actually have the courage to get it right.
Mr. Ramaswamy, let me finish my comments.
Yes.
Not only that, in addition to that, we see the SWAT team show up at pro-life activist homes with guns drawn, because this DOJ uses their power, uses their authority, not just against political opponents, but against conservatives and conservative causes. It is time for a change in America, and I will bring that change to the greatest nation on God's green earth.
We have an important
But Governor DeSantis, do you believe that Mike Pence did the right thing on January 6th?
So here's what we need to do. We need to end the weaponization of these federal agents.
Right, but
I will do that.
That's not the question.
I know, but here's the thing. This election is not about January 6th of 2021.
I know you
It's
asked a
about
question, but I'm not going to
January
answer it.
20th of 2025, when the next president
that's
is
just
going
been
to take
DeSantis
office.
all night.
I know what the Democrats would like to do. They want to talk about all these other issues, but we've got to focus on your future. We've got to focus on reversing the decline of our country. I learned in the military, I was assigned with U.S. Navy SEALs in Iraq, that you focus on the mission above all else. You can't get distracted. So Republicans, we've got to look forward, and we've got to make sure that we're bringing the message that can win in November.
Oh my God.
Vice President Pence, what do you think, Vice President?
Is to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. I think the American people deserve to know whether everyone on this stage agrees that I kept my oath to the Constitution that day. There's no more important duty. So answer the question.
I've answered this before.
So yes.
Why are we? Mike did his duty. I got no beef with him. But here's the thing: is this what we're going to be focusing on going forward? The rehashing of this? I'll tell you,
Governor
the
DeSantis,
Democrats would love that, and they will win if we let them get away with it. I'm not letting Biden hang out in the basement this time. We're going to run him ragged around this country, and we're going to hold him accountable.
Let me just say, Governor DeSantis, we spent an hour talking about policy. Former President Trump is beating you by 30, 40 points in many polls. So it is a factor in the GOP primary. Governor Hutchinson, you did not raise your hand.
I did not raise my hand because there's an important issue we as a party have to face. And over a year ago, I said that Donald Trump was morally disqualified from being president again as a result of what happened on January 6th. More people are understanding the importance of that, including conservative
look at all the listen to all the Nazis.
Who says he may be disqualified under the 14th Amendment from being president again as a result of the insurrection. This is something that could disqualify him under our rules.
Oh, he said the word insurrection.
Under the Constitution.
Well, it was attempted coup.
I'm not going to support somebody who's been convicted of a serious felony.
He's telling it like it actually is.
Is
real
disqualified
information.
under
It's just
our Constitution.
goodbye
and that's
career for
consistent
him as
with
well.
RNC rules. And I hope everybody would agree with that.
Unfortunately, it's sad that that's true, but unfortunately,
Martha, can I answer the question?
they're going to go the way of Liz Cheney.
I'd like to answer.
I've already been in on it, Vice President Pence.
All right, I'd like to answer the question you asked and not give a pre-canned speech. Mike Pence stood for the Constitution, and he deserves not grudging credit. He deserves our thanks as Americans for putting his oath of office and the Constitution of the United States before personal, political, and unfair pressure. And the argument that we need to have in this party, before we can move on to the issues that Ron talked about, is we have to dispense with the person who said that we need to suspend the Constitution to put forward his political career. Mike Pence said no, and he deserves credit for it.
Okay. Governor Haley, we haven't heard from you on this. Do you agree? Do you agree that Vice President Pence did the right thing that day or not?
I do think that Vice President Pence did the right thing, and I do think that we need to give him credit for that. But what I will also tell you is, look, I mean, when it comes to whether President Trump should serve or not, I trust the American people. Let them vote. Let them decide. But what they will tell you is that it is time for a new generational conservative leader. We have to look at the fact that 3/4 of Americans don't want a rematch between Trump and Biden. And we have to face the fact that Trump is the most disliked politician in America. We can't win a general election that way.
Governor Burgum?
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
It's Governor Burgum opportunity.
Is that Nikki
Yeah,
Haley?
to
Is that
answer
her
the
name?
question, Mike Pence did the right thing on January
I think
6th.
so.
But I would say you started off the top of this hour saying we're going to talk about China, Ukraine, education. We are. China is the number one threat to our country, and every minute that these 8 candidates spend talking about the past instead about the future is time that it's just you know who loves it? Biden loves it, but China loves it when we're talking about the past.
Okay, as promised, we were going to spend a few questions on it, let people say what they wanted to say, and now, indeed, we are moving on to the subject
The
of
U.S. has committed nearly 77.
Can I speak on this issue? I was
You
kind of
did
involved.
you answered on this.
You did say
answer.
something.
Yeah.
We thought you were done, but you
No, I
please.
wasn't done.
Well, Mike, why don't you say this? Join me in making a commitment that on day one you would pardon Donald Trump. I'm the only candidate on the stage who had the
Oh
courage
boy.
to actually say
Well, that's definitely defends Donald Trump.
move our nation forward.
Pardon January 6th insurrection should probably be counting that too.
Yeah, I would.
You should be able to make a commitment. The same justice system
Nope.
that was this
Vivek, here's
corrupt.
the difference between you and me.
Yeah, I'm not a professional
I've actually-
politician. That's the
I've
difference. Who can answer a question?
I've actually given pardons when I was governor of the state of Indiana. It usually follows a finding of guilt and contrition by the individual that's been convicted. So, look, if I'm president of the United States, we'll give fair consideration to any pardon request. But if I may, you know, it's not about looking back at January 2021.
Yeah, they're letting all this
It's
go
about
because of
January
his
20th,
ratings.
2017. I put my left hand on Ronald Reagan's Bible. I raised my right hand.
Of course you did.
And I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And it ended with a prayer, so help me God.
Oh,
It was a
God.
promise that I made to the American people, but I also made it to my Heavenly Father. Every day for 4 years I sought
What?
to keep that oath. And everyone on this stage needs to make it clear whether or not they'll do the same if they earn this job and the confidence of the American people. Now look, I've made it clear. I had hoped that the issues surrounding the 2020 election and the controversies around January 6th had not come to this, had not come to criminal proceedings. I would rather they had been resolved by the American people and the American people alone. But no one's above the law, and President Trump is entitled to the presumption of innocence that every American is entitled to, and we will make sure and extend that to him. But the American people deserve to know that the President asked me in his request that I reject or return votes unilaterally, power that no vice president in American history had ever exercised or
Oh, yeah.
taken. He asked me to put him over the Constitution. And I chose the Constitution, and I always will. I had no
Vice
right to
President Pence.
overturn the election, and Kamala Harris will have no
Oh,
right
he said it
to
right.
overturn the election when we
Right.
beat them in 2024.
Thank you, Vice President Pence. Now we are moving on to other issues. The U.S. has committed nearly $77 billion in aid to the Ukraine war. The administration is now asking Congress for $24 billion more. Regardless of that, the specifics of that plan, is there anyone on stage who would not support the increase of more funding to Ukraine?
We would
not support it.
Europe needs to step up. I mean, I would have Europe step up and do their job.
Mr. Ramaswamy,
It's not
you're
bad.
saying you would not too, Governor DeSantis?
I will have Europe pull their weight. Right now, they're not doing that,
would not
and I
support
think
more
we need
funding?
to do. And I think our support should be contingent on them doing it. And I would have support in China to be able to take China and do what we need to do with China.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you would not support an increase of funding to Ukraine?
I would not. And I think that this is disastrous, that we are protecting against an invasion across somebody else's border when we should use those same military resources to prevent across the invasion of our own southern border
Oh
here
my
in the United
God.
States of America. We are driving Russia further into China's hands. The Russia-China alliance is the single greatest threat we face. And I find
What
it
Russia-China
offensive that we
China
have professional
alliance?
politicians on the stage that will make a pilgrimage to Kyiv,
kind of a
to
thing.
their Pope,
Is there?
Zelensky, without doing the same thing for
Ish.
people in Maui or the south side of Chicago
all right,
or
Brett,
Kensington. I think that we have to put the interests
China
of
has
Americans
been very
first. Secure our
neutral
own border
about
instead of
Russia's
somebody else's.
invasion.
Right.
And the
Neutral.
reality is, this is also how we project strength
And he
by
says
making
we're
America
using
strong
time
at home.
Thank you.
All right, we
We're
heard,
gonna
we
go-
heard the names. Governor
let's
Christie
go to-
first.
All right, look, I did go to Ukraine, and I went to Ukraine because I wanted to see for myself what Vladimir Putin's army was doing to the free Ukrainian people. And let me tell you, I want you all to look around this arena tonight and imagine that every one of these seats was filled. And if every one of them was filled, there would still be 2,500 more children outside to make over 20,000 who have been abducted, stolen, ripped from their mothers and fathers, and brought back to Russia to be programmed to fight their own families. They have gouged out people's eyes, cut off their ears, and shot people in the back of the head, men, and then gone into those homes and raped the daughters and the wives who were left as widows and orphans. This is the Vladimir Putin. This is the Vladimir Putin who Donald Trump called brilliant and a genius. If we don't stand up against this type of autocratic killing in the world, we will be next.
That's a bit
Governor
hyperbolic,
Haley,
but-
we'll come back.
Vice President Pence was mentioned. You get 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, let me be clear. Anybody that thinks that we can't solve the problems here in the United States and be the leader of the free world has a pretty small view of the greatest nation on earth.
That is incorrect.
We can do both, Vivek. We've done both. We've been the leader of the free world and the arsenal of democracy for years. The Reagan Doctrine years ago made it clear. We said, if you're willing to fight the communists on your soil, we'll give you the means to fight them there so our troops don't have to fight them. Vivek, if we do the giveaway that you want to give to Putin to give him his land, it's not going to be too long before he rolls across a NATO border, and frankly, our men and women of our armed forces are going to have to go and fight him. I want to let the Ukrainians fight and drive Putin and the Russians back out into Russia.
I want to just
So our
briefly
troops
address
aren't gonna have
Pence.
to make that
Vice
fight.
President Pence. I have a newsflash. The USSR does not exist anymore. It fell back in 1990.
Did I say
the real
USSR?
threat? You talked about the communists, and the real communists that we have to address
Do you
right
not
now
have any
is the
idea what Vladimir Putin's aims
you
are?
already spoke. Now I actually have something to say.
Vladimir Putin has been saying he wants to reestablish the old Soviet sphere
You've made
of
your point,
influence.
Vice President.
Now, if you think I'm sorry if I insulted him by calling him a communist. He is a dictator and a murderer, and the United States of America needs to stand against authoritarianism.
Mr. Ramaswamy, 30 seconds.
But
The real threat we face today is communist China, and we are driving
God.
Russia further into
This guy.
China's arms. The Russia-China military alliance is the single greatest threat we face. Nobody in either political party is talking about it, and I am the only non-neocon on this stage that will keep us out of war.
Mr. Vice President, we can't hear. Mr. Vice President,
is to give Russia
Mr. Vice
everything
President.
they've got.
Oh my
Mr.
God.
Vice President.
Give them a promise that Ukraine will never be in NATO, and then somehow
Mr. Vice President.
China will not think about taking Taiwan. We achieve peace through strength.
Mr. Vice
and
President.
America needs to stand for freedom.
Okay, here we go.
I think we need to reestablish some ground rules
When
here,
we
folks.
hear this bell,
Yes.
that means your time's done. So, Mr. Vice President, we
They
appreciate
could just
your
mute.
aggressiveness here.
Command and
30
Conquer 2. They
seconds
were
is
like,
30
peace
seconds.
through
Mr.
power.
Ramaswamy, you were
Right.
mentioned. You get 30
Like,
seconds.
we're there.
The
We're
reality
there.
is
Right.
that today, Ukraine is not a priority for the United States of America. And I think that the same people who took us into the Iraq War,
Yes, it
the
is.
same people who took us into the Vietnam War, you cannot end it. You cannot start another no-win war. And I do not want to get to the point where we're sending our military resources abroad when we could be better using them here at home to protect our own borders, protect the homeland.
But we're not
That will be my top priority in foreign policy. Protect this homeland.
We're not sending troops
People, because everybody, we respect
to
everybody's
Ukraine.
time here. So, Governor
Like Vietnam.
you did not
Yeah, they
raise your
probably
hand,
think we could
meaning
get
that
there
you
eventually
would
in their-
support
in the
more
arguments they're
funding
making.
for the Ukraine war. You have
Although,
said
that
of
would be
Governor
insane, because
DeSantis
then we would
that
be literally
you didn't appreciate
at
it
war
when
with
he
Russia.
initially called
Right.
it a territorial dispute. Why?
First of all, the American president needs to have moral clarity.
But if we
They
don't
need
do
to know the
anything,
difference
then we
between
would end
right
up
and
doing it,
wrong.
just like
they
Pence
need
pointed
to
out.
know the difference between
Yeah.
good and evil. When you look at the situation with Russia and Ukraine, here you have a pro-American country that was invaded by a thug. So when you want to talk about what has been given to Ukraine, less than 3.5% of our defense budget has been given to Ukraine. If you look at the percentages per GDP, 11 of the European countries have given more than the U.S. But what's really important is go back to when China and Russia held hands, shook hands before the Olympics, and named themselves unlimited partners. A win for Russia is a win for China. We have to know that. Ukraine is the first line of defense for us. And the problem that Vivek doesn't understand is he wants to hand Ukraine to Russia. He wants to let China eat Taiwan. He wants to go and stop funding Israel. You don't do that to friends. What you do instead is you have the backs of your friends. Ukraine is the front line of defense. Putin has said once Russia takes Ukraine, Poland and the Baltics are next. That's a world war. We're trying to prevent war. Look at what Putin did today. He killed Prigozhin. When I was at the UN, the Russian ambassador suddenly died. This guy is a murderer, and you are choosing a murderer over a pro-American country.
First of all, Mr. Ramaswamy, you have 30 seconds. Mr. DeSantis, Governor
Nikki,
DeSantis,
I wish you well in your future career on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon.
You know, I'm not on
but
the boards
fact
of
of the matter,
Lockheed and Raytheon, and you know, you
Boeing
have
came
put
off of it,
down
but you've been pushing this
everybody on
lie.
stage,
You've been pushing
but
this
you
lie
want-
all week,
You want
Nikki.
to go and defund Israel? You want to
Okay,
give
let me address
Taiwan to
that. I'm
China?
glad you brought that
want to
up.
go and give
I'm going to
Ukraine
address
Russia?
each of those.
Fight.
Right? Like, a Democratic debate wouldn't even get half this disruptive.
No.
Policy experience, and it shows.
And you know what?
It shows.
I think when are they going to start throwing chairs? I wonder.
Yeah, I mean, when they're, like, the primary Republican way to argue is to just shout over your opponent, then this is what you get.
Relationship. It is a friendship. And you know what friends do? Friends help each other stand on their own 2 feet. So I will lead Abraham Accords 2.0. I will partner with Israel to make sure Iran never is nuclear armed. But you know what I love about Israel? And I've been there probably in the last 10 years more than most people on this stage. You know what I love about them? I love their border policies. I love their tough on crime policies. I love that they have a national identity and an iron dome to protect their homeland. And so, yes, I want to learn from the friends that we're supporting. And what puzzles
you wanna
me
cut the
is,
aid
I want to
off.
learn
And
from
let me
those and
tell
apply
you,
those to protect
it's
our
not
homeland,
that
Nikki.
Israel
That is
needs
the answer.
America. America needs Israel.
Okay,
They are
Governor
the front line
DeSantis,
of defense
Governor
to us.
DeSantis, you were mentioned at the territorial dispute. Not only
No, it's not a territorial
as
dispute
President
either.
of the United States, your first obligation is to defend our country and its people. And that means you're sending all this money, but you're not doing what we need to do to secure our own border. We have tens of thousands of people
Oh my
who
God.
are being killed because
I'm surprised Border's not on the list.
And so
Right?
I am going to declare it a national emergency.
Should've made my own
I'm
list.
That
not
and
gonna
Ronald
send
Reagan.
troops to
Yeah.
Ukraine, but I am going to send them to our southern border. When these drug pushers are bringing fentanyl across the border, that's going to be the last thing they do. We're going to use force, and we're going to leave them stone cold dead.
we're actually going to move on to China. We're going to
Defends
talk about
Russia.
China.
Here we go.
Governor Burgum.
Yeah, I've
China
been on the
has
fence about
biggest
that
navy
one,
in the
but I
world,
think it's
the
kind of
biggest
fair.
army in the
Yeah.
world. Now they have warships off the coast of Alaska. They are threatening Taiwan. In coming years, China will have 1,500 nuclear warheads, it's believed. The U.S. just arrested 2 sailors accused of spying for China within our military. So the question is, how would you deter China as a president, Burgum?
Well, this is the #1 issue we're facing, and of course we haven't been talking about it, and we act like that letting Russia win in the Ukraine is like a gimme as opposed to a gift to China. Russia has become China's gas station. But how would we do it? The Biden administration is a complete fail. China imports 10 million barrels of oil a day, more than any other country in the world. They do not even have all the food they need to feed everybody in that country, so they don't have energy security or food security. But the Biden administration sends Blinken, Yellen over there. They're over there talking. They don't even bring up energy because they're too busy trying to kill the U.S. energy here. And what we need to do is not meetings, not press releases, because something that would send a lot more than a press release is actually Harpoon missiles. We need anti-ship missiles on Taiwan. The way that you have a war never start, which is the goal, the way you have peace through strength, is that you actually have strength. You actually have deterrence. And what we have in what we've got going on in Ukraine is an example of when deterrence fail. What is an example there of Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, the fact that he green-lighted Putin moving into Ukraine, and then now they see weakness, and when they see weakness, they make a move. And we have to be strong, and we have to be strong both in Ukraine, and we can solve the southern border. Absolutely, we can do that, because guess what? There's only 19,855 authorized people for the Border Patrol, but they're not all staff because the Biden administration doesn't enforce law enforcement. But Biden administration wanted to put 87,000 people in the IRS as opposed to giving the money and the support we need to our own Border Patrol.
Yeah, because I think Biden increased funding to the police department, didn't he?
Let's fire
to the police or
87,000 IRS agents and hire or double the number of Border Patrol agents. I just left Yuma, Arizona about 2 weeks ago. The most pressing need of the American people from a national security standpoint is our southern border. It has led to the death of 70,000 Americans because of fentanyl. Plus 6 million illegal crossings since President Biden has taken office, and 200 people on our national security watch list have been caught at our border. How many have not been caught at our southern border? If we just spend $10 billion, we could finish the wall. For $5 billion more, we could have the military-grade technology to surveil our southern border to stop the flow of fentanyl and save 70,000 Americans a year. That should be the priority of this government. And as the next president of the United States, I will make that border wall complete.
There are many more questions on China. I do want to ask about.
I want to say I couldn't agree more. It's not just the 70,000 from fentanyl. We've lost 200,000 people to overdoses since Biden took office. That's 300 people a day. We're taking mass casualties, and that's a statistic, but these are sons and daughters, nieces and nephews that we're losing. We've got North Dakota troops down there flying night helicopter missions from San Diego to the Gulf Coast, trying to stop these transnational criminal organizations. They've got better funding on their side than we've got on our side.
Speaking of which, Governor Hutchinson, images from earlier this month, Governor Hutchinson,
with Mexico,
Vice President Pence, images from earlier this month. Vice President Pence, it really doesn't help. I'm asking a question. Earlier this month, images showed suspected cartel members crossing into Texas with rifles. Do you consider this an invasion? Would you authorize lethal force along that border?
There would be lethal force used by the Border Patrol, law enforcement as needed to protect the border. Absolutely. When you look at the military has to be used for intelligence gathering purposes. This is not unusual. Whenever I was in the Bush administration, we went down there and met with President Vicente Fox of Mexico and asked his help in going after the cartels. And he looked at me and said, they're a problem to us as well. And so we joined together and we took down the Ariana Felix brothers leading the Tijuana cartel, and that made a difference. Ramon was shot and killed, and Ben Amin was captured. Cooperation makes a difference. We cannot be successful going against the cartel unless we bring in Mexico as a partner. We have to use economic pressure.
Yes, and I will do it on day one. Here's the thing. The cartels are killing tens of thousands of our fellow citizens. You want to talk about a country in decline? You have the cartels controlling a lot of part of your southern border. We have to reestablish the rule of law, and we have to defend our people. The President of the United States has got to use all available powers as Commander-in-Chief to protect our country and to protect the people. So when they're coming across, yes, we're going to use lethal force. Yes, we reserve the right to operate. How many more tens of thousands are we going to let to die? I am sick. I've met angel moms throughout this country. I met a lady in Texas named Tracy, and her son took one Percocet that was laced with fentanyl, immediately died. That is happening all across this country because of the poison that they are bringing in. So as president, would I use force? Would I treat them as foreign terrorist organizations? You're darn right I would.
You know, Vice President Pence, why would you be better at this issue than Governor DeSantis? Governor DeSantis on the campaign trail refers to your administration as not finishing the wall.
Right. Look, we secured the southern border of the United States of America and reduced illegal immigration and asylum abuse by 90%. When Joe Biden took over, he threw open the southern border of the United States, and the wave of humanity, the wave of fentanyl that's been eloquently described here is a wave of human tragedy across this country. But Martha, you began this evening talking about who is best prepared to be the next president of the United States. And I have to tell you, with all humility, I was there when we negotiated through the government shutdown and got the funding available to build the wall. I was negotiating on Capitol Hill around the clock. I negotiated the Remain in Mexico policy on behalf of the President of the United States. And Asa, you're so right. It's because we used economic pressure to bring the Mexicans to the table, and they allowed us to have people wait in Mexico while they applied for asylum and ended asylum abuse overnight. We got the Mexicans to deploy their National Guard to their southern border and to our southern border as never before. And I want to promise you, as President of the United States of America, I will engage Mexico the exact same way, and we will partner with the Mexican military, and we will hunt down and destroy the cartels that are claiming lives in the United States of America.
Okay, thank you. Another issue that
So
is
this
related
is-
to this is that almost 7 million migrants have crossed this border, our southern border, during the Biden administration. So, Governor Christie, what would you do about the 7 million who are here? How would you handle them? What would you do?
Look, Martha, the first thing we need to do is to stop any more from coming. That's the first thing we need to do. Then the next thing we need to do with the folks that are here is to, again, as we've talked about all night tonight, we have to have law and order in this country. We have to enforce the law. And what that means is to make sure that people who come here illegally are not rewarded for being here illegally. We have so many wonderful people from around the world who are waiting in line, following the law to try to come here and pursue the American dream. And those people are waiting and waiting and waiting because we haven't dealt with the problem of the folks who are here. We have to have them detained. We have to make sure that they are not rewarded for having broken the law. And one last thing on this fentanyl issue. With China, we can't take our eye off of that ball. Right. Yes, it's important that we secure the border. Very important, as I just said. But China is sending these chemicals to these drug cartels for them to create the fentanyl that is killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens. The Chinese are engaging in an act of war against us, killing our citizens. We better make that priority one in our conversations with China and to try to straighten that relationship out, because if we don't, we're going to lose more and more of our citizens.
I just want to clarify, would you send those people back?
Of course. You'd have to.
We have a lot of issues that Americans care about. Next up, we're going to talk about the crisis in education, as millions of American children are not proficient in reading or math after this.
Okay. I'm surprised. Nothing here on the border. because that's like a big issue for them.
Oh, for sure. I mean, maybe they figured some of the stuff would be too easy.
Maybe. I don't know. But I mean, from what I've gathered, I mean, like, you know, just trying to see different things, right? Under statistics and trends, under border crossings. Not that I really care about it, you know.
Yeah. But, yeah, because I think Pence made the argument that they reduced the number of border crossings down to like 90 by 90%
Yeah, that's
or
bullshit.
whatever. Yeah, I'm like, okay, if you maybe cherry pick data specific to during like the height of the pandemic or something,
Right.
and when they implemented the I forget what policy name it is that was essentially the Remain in Mexico policy, and you cherry picked that data, yeah, I guess you may technically get there, but aside from that very unique circumstance that didn't last beyond their own administration, no, it's I don't even know where that number would come from.
Right. And since, you know, Biden's first month, apparently, it's dropped. It's actually dropped the amount of illegal immigrants. June was the lowest month for Biden, anyway. But as far as arrests go, I mean, there was more arrests on the border under the Obama administration than Donald Trump.
Yeah, I believe
And
it.
more deportations. I mean, you know. That's why Obama had the nickname the deporter in chief, you know.
Yeah, but I mean that doesn't go well with the the narrative that they want. So they're just gonna do some revisionist history, and they'll all just agree to it.
Right.
I mean, yeah, just like with the crime rates and talking about like Florida, and DeSantis was like his response was like, oh, but no, that's wrong. It's like it's coming from the reporters. They're the ones that probably know the actual statistics that they have in front of them for their question.
Mm-hmm. Well, who do you think is winning the debate? Answer. There you go. 0. No one.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bunch of crap. Nobody, again, still no policy. Nothing. Except for maybe, what? Stronger borders, I guess? Is that a policy?
Yeah, I think you could call that like a policy change for like actually building the wall and
Yeah.
like, improving the number of forces, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess you also as a policy, you have Pence's whole we're going to remove the Department of Education.
Oh yeah, well there you go. There's a policy.
So-
That's insane.
Right?
I mean, obviously I think they're all full of shit. But if I were to pick, I don't know, at this point, like we're almost done here.
Yeah, education is the final topic, so we'll maybe see if Pence elaborates.
The nation's report card was the weakest ever for American school children, exposing chronic absenteeism, deep declines for reading and math for 15-year-olds and 13-year-olds. Governor DeSantis, you would eliminate, you said, the Department of Education.
Oh, him too.
But as president,
Oh, shit.
would you still have a responsibility to fix this crisis as we see it?
Absolutely. The decline in education is one of the major reasons why our country is in decline.
Private schools?
We need education in this country, not indoctrination in this country. And in Florida, we stood up for what was right. First, we had schools open during COVID, and a lot of the problems that we've seen are because these lockdown states lock their kids out of school for a year and a half. That was wrong. We stood up. I took a lot of fire for that. I was pilloried by the media, but I stood for our kids. And as president, I'll stand for you and your kids as well. But we have to make sure that what our schools are doing is focusing on solid academics. In Florida, we eliminated critical race theory from our K through 12 schools.
Almost there.
We eliminated gender ideology from our K through 12 schools. And we have elevated the importance of American civics and teaching our kids about the Constitution
They gotta say
and
it,
the
though.
Bill of Rights. As president, I'm going to lead an effort to increase civic understanding and knowledge of our Constitution. We cannot be graduating students that don't have any foundation in what it means to be an American.
Mr. Ramaswamy, Mr.
So close.
Mr.
So
Ramaswamy,
close.
hold on, Senator Scott. You've said that the Department of Education, the FBI, the ATF, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the IRS, the Department of Commerce, many of these should not exist.
That's correct.
Oh, good
So,
Lord.
to the education question,
Jesus.
how would you deal with the crisis?
So look, we have a crisis of achievement. Let's shut down the head of the snake, the Department of Education. Take that $80 billion, put it in the hands of parents across this country. This is the civil rights issue of our time. Allow any parent to choose where they send their kids to school. End the teachers' unions at the local level to allow public schools to compete. And then revive our national identity where every high school senior should have to pass the same civics test that frankly every immigrant, including my mother, had to pass in order to become a citizen of this country. And the fact of the matter is, look, there's part of education policy that also rests with the family. I didn't grow up in money, but you know the word privilege gets used a lot? Well, you know what? I did have the ultimate privilege of two parents in the house with a focus on educational achievement. And I want every kid to enjoy that. So part of the problem is we also have a federal government that pays single women more not to have a man in the house than to have a man in the house.
What the fuck?
Contributing to an epidemic of fatherlessness. And I think that goes hand in
The
glove.
fuck did that come
with
from?
the education crisis as well, because we have
Going
to
back to the
remember
1980s
education
welfare
starts
queen's
with
argument.
the family,
Yeah.
and the nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind.
Also, if you give that $80 billion to all the American families, that's like about 200 to 250 per person.
Biological boys playing in girls'
So,
sports is the women's
I don't think that's
issue
gonna
of our
cut it.
time.
No.
You said that even though you signed a ban on this in North Dakota,
Cut
that there
Social
hadn't
Security?
been one
Did they say something
instance
about that?
where it was actually needed.
He
Are you
rattled
saying
off
that
so
you
many
think
so
that
fast.
too much is made of this issue?
No, I'm saying in North Dakota, we made a priority of protecting women's sports, and we've done that
Yep.
in our state. But I would absolutely do that. But I do think when we start talking about education and we think that we're going to have a federal government one size fits all, we're just completely losing track of the fact that education differs by states. Some school districts are doing a fantastic job, some less so. But the idea that every school district, state, and every teacher is somehow indoctrinating people is just false. You know, when I was
That's
building
true.
a company from scratch, you know, with small town kids, and we went, you know, grew up in a town of 300, but we built a global company in 132 countries with over 100,000 customers. We listened to those customers. We spent time with them. We talked to them. We did that. And as governor, well, education is one of the biggest part of a state budget. So as a governor, I shadow a student. I don't, the night before I find out the student finds out, I'm going to go to every class with them. I don't sit and lecture school districts how to do it. I go and see the experience. And there's a lot of things that have to change. But what needs to change in education is it's innovation. We're doing it the same way we did it 50 years ago with innovation, not regulation. I would get rid of the Department of Education. I would give block grants to schools, but I'd give them on merit based on who's doing the most innovative. I just got done holding the 7th annual Governor's Conference on Innovation Education. You should see what the people are doing when you cut loose the red tape, get the burden off their back. They care. Teachers in this country, the vast majority of them care about those kids. They're working in low-paying jobs, and they're fighting for those kids and their families.
Governor Haley, you said that this was the women's issue of our time.
First, I'll tell you, as you know, as a parent, the one thing you want is for your child to have a better life than you did. And we can talk about all of these things, and there's a lot of crazy woke things happening in schools, but we've got to get these kids reading. If a child can't read by 3rd grade, they're 4 times less likely to graduate high school. So we need to make sure we bring in reading remediation all over this country. We need transparency in the classroom because parents should never have to wonder what's being said or taught to their children in the classroom. Parents need to be deciding which schools their kids go to because they know best. And let's put vocational classes back into the high schools. Let's teach our kids to build things again. When we do that and we allow that innovation, that's when it'll get back. And yes, I will always say I'm going to fight for girls all day long because strong girls become strong women become strong leaders, and biological boys don't belong in the locker rooms of any of our girls.
There we go.
The lightning round, and the first question is going to
be
go
there.
to you, Vice President. So this is a lightning round of questions, 30-second answers, please. President Biden will be 82 years old on Inauguration Day. Nearly 70% of Americans say that he is too old to serve. Should presidents have to pass a mental and physical test in order to serve, Vice President Pence?
Well, it might be a good idea to have everybody in Washington, D.C. pass a mental and... But 30 seconds, no. The American people can make those judgments. But let me say, I'm running for president of the United States because we don't need a president who's too old. And we don't need a president who's too young. We need a president who's been there. We need a president who knows how Congress works, how the White House works, how states work. And on this education
Who's
issue,
too young?
Martha, I was
DeSantis?
fighting against No Child Left Behind when Republicans were doubling the Department of Education.
Billionaire guy.
I'll also
really?
shut down the Federal Department of Education. And when I was governor,
wannabe
we
Trump is
doubled the
38.
size of the largest school choice program in America, and we'll give school choice to every family in America when I'm in the White House.
This is a lightning round, Mr. Ramaswamy. I think you were mentioned there. You're 38. You're the youngest on the stage. You've said, and you just said, you want a civics test or public service for those under 25 to be able to vote. So the question is, do you want a mental acuity test for presidents over 75?
I believe in the people of this country to tell the difference between somebody who's an automaton and somebody who's actually a thinking agent in the White House, which we don't have in there today. And I will tell you, I want to address Vice President Pence's comment. I think we do need somebody of a different generation to lead this nation forward. Look at the way I've run this campaign. Going to the south side of Chicago, to Kensington, in the middle of Philadelphia, where traditional Republican candidates don't go. We have an opportunity to build a multi-ethnic working class majority to deliver a landslide, and I think I'm the only candidate in this race, young or old, black or white, to bring all of those voters along to deliver a Reagan 1980 revolution. We're going to do it in 2024.
Same question to you, Governor.
In a presidential election until 2020.
I will answer that. I will answer that.
30 seconds.
30-second quick answer.
You guys need to get control of this debate.
Everybody's going to get a chance.
Listen, we're getting control of the debate. This is a lightning round, not rolling thunder. Governor Hutchinson, you have 30 seconds on the same question.
On education, first of all, look at Arkansas. We have to compete with China. I built computer science education. We led the nation in computer science education, going from 1,100 students to 23,000 students taking it. This is how you compete with China. As President of the United States, I will make sure we go from 51% of our schools offering computer science to every school in rural areas and urban areas offering computer science for the benefit of our kids, and we can compete with China in terms of technology.
Thank you, sir. This is going to go to this is coming to you. We're trying to do a quick round of different topics here. So, Senator Scott, faith is on decline in this country. You talked about it a little bit before tonight. So, is there a role for a president of the United States in changing that? What would you do to change that?
Well, our nation was founded upon the Judeo-Christian values that has made this the greatest nation on God's green earth. I'm a big believer in Ephesians 3:20 that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or imagine. Our responsibility should be to model the behavior we want others to follow. On education, the only way we change education in this nation is to break the backs of the teachers' unions. They are standing in the doorhouse of our kids, locking them into failing schools and locking them out of the greatest future they could have.
As President, Governor DeSantis, would you support some mandatory military service for all Americans?
I think it should be voluntary. I'm somebody that volunteered to serve, inspired by September 11th, and I deployed to Iraq alongside U.S. Navy SEALs in places like Fallujah, Ramadi. And it's something that I think has taught me, you know, when you go in that type of environment, anything you have, your personal agenda, you check it at the door. You go there, and it's about focusing on the mission above all else. And guys come together, and they get it done. And that's how I would view being the President of the United States. It's not about me. It's not about all these other side issues. My sole focus will be on your future and reversing this country's decline.
Okay, now for something a little out of this world, and this is for you, Governor Christie. Do you believe that the recent spike in UFO encounters...
I get the UFO.
Oh, geez.
Come on, man.
But okay, we've been hearing a lot of testimony in Congress, and people are taking this a lot more seriously. And we're hearing that, you know, there are things going on that people aren't aware of. So, if you were president, Governor Christie, would you level with the American people about what the government knows about these possible encounters?
Martha, and especially coming from a woman from New Jersey, I think it's horrible that just because I'm from New Jersey, you asked me about unidentified flying objects and Martians. We're different, but we're not that different. Look, of course, the job of the President of the United States is to level with the American people about everything.
Oh, shit.
The job of the President of the United States is to stand for truth. The job of the President of the United States is to be a role model for our children and our grandchildren. And so whether it was UFOs or this problem of education, and Tim's right, by the way, and I started this in 2010 by going right after the teachers' unions in New Jersey and drove them down to an all-time low popularity rating because they were putting themselves before our kids. That is the biggest threat to our country, not UFOs.
Okay. Well, coming up, we've got closing arguments, plus right after the debate, Hannity is live from the spin room right here in the Fiserv Forum with reaction from all the candidates. As soon as they step off the stage, we'll be back after this.
Do you trust
All
our
right.
government? And
Wow.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's actually worse than I had expected. Like, with half the candidates basically being pro shutting down departments of the government. I mean, where do you go from there?
Yeah. I know.
And yeah, so we're also pretty much at the end. We'll probably be able to check off the can't name a policy difference with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Because I highly doubt anything that they've said up to this point is something that is drastically different than anything he's ever put forward.
Yep. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, Trump would probably be saying, like, yeah, I'm going to shut down the Department of Justice.
I know. Oh boy, look at that.
Oh my God.
Man. It's so just obviously blatant propaganda. You know?
Right?
It how can anybody fall for
Oh my
this?
God. It's another one.
Like, it's asking a random question. 7 million it's not even, I don't even think that's accurate. I think it's something like 3 million. And I think it's down from what it was. It's so misleading. See, you know, people are misleading you when they use numbers instead of instead of percentages.
Right.
When they use big numbers, it's the same thing with, like, only, you know, there are 900 scientists that don't believe in climate change. It's like, yeah, but how many, or 600 or whatever the number was they used, right? But
Yeah,
how many
exactly,
does that
yeah.
make up? Oh, that's only like 1% of fucking scientists.
Yeah, so you too can get off the grid.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Hmm?
What is this?
It's a commercial.
I
But-
know, but I'm just like watching the visuals of it with no context otherwise.
Oh yeah.
And these visuals are just.
Oh, it's for the coffee.
It's for coffee. It's for the coffee. What?
It looks like Modern Warfare. Call
It
of
started
Duty.
With a guy that had because I don't know if you were watching actively at the time. There was a guy working in like a metal shop or something with a flag on the wall who watches on the TV for the like 9/11 towers, being attacked, and then it went to like soldiers like raiding some kind of base or something, with one of the soldiers having a rolled up American flag on their back as they're going through. And then there was like a few other quick things, and then it's like boom, coffee. Like, what?
Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go. Ronald Reagan Library. Oh wait, what's that?
The next 2024 showdown.
Fox
Oh, wow.
Business is partnering
Okay.
with Univision,
Full-blown
the Reagan
Air Force
Foundation,
One in there?
and Rumble to bring you the second Republican presidential debate on
Sure.
September 27th. It looks pretty nice there. 20 years ago, 70% of American adults said they were extremely proud to be an American. That number has now plummeted to just 39%. In his pitch to get to the Oval Office, President Reagan called America the shining city on a hill, a beacon of hope and optimism.
So in your closing statement tonight, please tell American voters why you are the person who can inspire this nation to a better day. These are 45 seconds, and we begin with Governor Cuomo.
I understand why America's hurting. Biden's inflation is choking us. I grew up in a small town.
They didn't
My
mention
dad died
inflation
when I
either.
was a freshman in high school. My mom, widow of 3, went back to work. Every job I had growing up was one where I took a shower at the end of the day, not at the beginning of the day. Our cities
that
are less
anyway.
safe because of the fentanyl pouring into this country. Our economy is being
prefer it.
crushed by Biden's energy policies, which are raising the cost of every product you buy, not just the gasoline at the pump. One thing that I'll do as president, I'll secure the border. I'll get this economy sprinting, not crawling like it is right now. And I would say that other thing is for sure, when I'm on a horseback in the Badlands of North Dakota,
Oh my God.
it looks like
Why
the
did they get to
horizon
do
is just
that?
limitless. And when you can almost see beyond that horizon, you can see that this great country, our future is unlimited. But we've got to focus on innovation, not regulation. We've got to cut the red tape. We've got to drive
shut the
ourselves
f-
forward. The way we win the
You
Cold
lost.
War with China
It's over.
is by growing our economy and through innovation.
WWE.
And as president,
Right.
I will bring out the best of America. I will improve
You
every
lost.
American life.
Done.
Well,
Governor
we hope you're
Hutchinson.
back on your horse soon, Governor.
And rides away into the sunset
Governor
because
Hutchinson?
it's
Our
over.
nation is in trouble.
Yeah.
And it's in trouble because of failed leadership. And the solution is not 4
Leadership.
more years of Joseph Biden. The solution is not 4 more years of Donald Trump. The solution
Me.
is new leadership that can bring bold ideas to America and to bring out the best of America. A president's number one responsibility
Watches
is to
going
bring
down.
out the
Views
best
dropped.
of our people. That's what Ronald Reagan did. And he did it with optimism and hope for our country, with a consistent conservatism. That's exactly what I bring. As president, I'll bring out the best of America in terms of individual responsibility, building our economy, in terms of securing our border, enforcing the rule of law. I'll bring out the best of America in terms of our national character, our faith, and our hope for the future. Join in this fight. ACE2024.com.
Thank you. Senator Scott.
Biden's bad. I'll be ready.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I was a disillusioned young man growing up in a single-parent household, mired in poverty. I wondered if the American dream was real for a kid like me. I can stand before you today and say the dream is alive, it is well, and it is healthy. I have the good fortune of a mom who works 16-hour days, making sure we have food on our tables. She taught me that if you're able-bodied in America, you work. If you take out a loan, you pay it back. If you commit a violent crime, you go to jail. And if God made you a man, you play sports against men.
Yep.
Can we mark it twice?
Yeah, right.
I'm asking you for your vote, and if you're in Iowa, I'm asking you to caucus for me. You can go to votetimscott.com for more information or to make a
They
contribution.
can caucus for you.
Governor Christie.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Martha. Look, everybody on this stage wants to be the next president of the United States. And the only way that's going to happen is if we beat Joe Biden. I'm the only one on this stage who's ever beaten a Democratic incumbent in an election. I did it in a deep blue state, being outspent 3-1. Beating a Democratic incumbent is not easy. The last Democratic incumbent president who was defeated was Jimmy Carter. And he was defeated by a conservative governor from a blue state who knew how to get results, who stood for the truth.
So he's
who cared
comparing
about
himself to Reagan?
accountability, and stood strong and hard against waste.
Aren't they all?
Those are the very things that I did in my 8 years as governor of New Jersey, and it's exactly what I'll do as president of the United States. Believe me, the Democrats want some other nominee who's never beaten a Democratic incumbent. I'm the one who can win this race, and if you give me the chance, I will restore our country by winning it.
Thank you. Governor Haley.
Several weeks ago, I dropped my husband, Michael, a combat veteran from Afghanistan, off at 4 a.m. for another year-long deployment.
Okay.
I watched him and 230 soldiers pick up their
So
two
he should be
duffel
president?
bags of belongings
Right.
to go to a country they'd never been, all in the name of protecting America. If they are willing to protect us from there, we should be willing to fight for America
Where's
here.
there?
I will beat Joe Biden, and he knows that. I will strengthen our economy, and we'll bring this inflation down. We will put transparency in the classroom. We will secure our borders. We will have the backs of our law enforcement, and we will make sure we have a strong national security. And once again, we will make sure we have an America that is strong and proud. We have a country to save. Join us. Go to NikkiHaley.com, and let's get it done.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Vice President Pence.
So true.
Thank you, Brad and Martha, for this evening. It's an honor to be here. Joe Biden has weakened America at home and abroad. The disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, their war on energy, runaway spending that launched the worst inflation in 40 years, a crisis at our southern border, an assault on our values and liberties. And the
so
American people
wrong.
have had enough. But I know we can bring it back. But different times call for different leadership. The Republican Party owes the American people a choice. Proven leadership at the national level that knows how to move a conservative agenda forward. We proved in the Trump-Pence years you can turn this country around faster than you can imagine. And I have faith we will again. Because I have faith in the American people. The good, decent, hard-working, faith-filled, idealistic people of this country. And I have faith that God is not done with America yet. And if we will renew our faith in one another and renew our faith in Him who has ever guided this nation since we arrived on these wilderness shores, I know the best days for the greatest nation on earth
How many
yet to
things
come.
are they each going to get?
Mr. Ramaswamy.
It's like
I was born
so
in
practiced and yet didn't
1985, and
practice
I
under
grew
45
up into a
seconds.
generation where we were taught to celebrate our diversity and our differences so much that we forgot all of the ways we are really just the same as Americans, bound by a
He's
common
definitely
set of ideals
taken, like,
that set this
public
nation into
speaking
motion in
lessons.
1776.
Mechanical.
And this is our moment to revive those common ideals. God is real. There are two genders. Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Reverse racism is racism. An open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to man. Capitalism lifts us up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government, not 4. And the U.S. Constitution, it is the strongest guarantor of freedom in human history.
What's the fourth?
That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what will win us the revolution of 2024. Thanks for letting me introduce myself tonight.
What's this imaginary fourth, Governor?
Governor DeSantis.
Yeah, exactly. It's just nonsensical.
Governor?
This is our time for
Okay, there's the stupid face.
We will send Joe Biden back to his basement, and we will reverse the decline of this country. I'm a blue-collar kid. I work minimum wage jobs to be able to make ends meet. I understand the importance of the American dream, and I know how that's slipped away from so many millions of Americans. We'll restore it. I'm a veteran who served in Iraq. I know what it means to put service above self. I'm also a dad and a husband to 6'5" and 3-year-old. I understand the importance of protecting parents' rights and the well-being of our children. In Florida, we showed it could be done. I made promises and I delivered on all of those promises. 2024 is make or break. We're not getting a mulligan, no excuses. I will get the job done, and as your president, I will not let you down. God bless you all.
Well, we want to say thank you. Thank you to all the candidates
That was
on
it.
the stage tonight, and thank you to Milwaukee.
Thank you,
Oh, boy.
everybody. We will see you on the campaign trail, from debates to primaries to the general election and the conventions before that.
We didn't
Thanks for
win.
joining us. Sean Hannity from the Spin Room
Yeah.
starts right
Still
now.
half,
Take it
though.
away, Sean.
Yeah.
Take it away, Sean.
All right. Well, thank you both, by the way. Great job, Martha and...
Okay. That was it. I can't believe, yeah. If they would have had border in there and inflation, then we may have won.
Yeah, I will say I think it's fair for them not to have included inflation, because that isn't going to be probably one of their own talking points, and I think this is really just to point out ridiculous things that GOP would say that we would never talk about.
Right. Right, exactly. Oh, man. Crazy. So, a whole big nothing burger.
I mean, for the most part, I think, honestly, I think Chris Christie was the only one that was actually making, well, I'm not making sense. I feel like that's where it was leading me to talk over there. It was making the only, like, point is, like, we need to be talking about, like, how we need to be taking down Trump in this. Like, we can fight amongst ourselves all we want, but it's not going to matter if he's the front runner
Right.
and he's not showing up for us to talk about.
Right, true.
So yeah, I think, and I mean, I hate to say it, like, from a political maneuver perspective, I think Trump not showing up was probably the smartest move that could be made.
Right.
Because when you're in the lead, you don't want to do debates. There's no advantage to it.
Right.
So by having them just, tear each other up and him pretending to be above the fray, it's effective, unfortunately.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's just such an interesting move, in that in any previous times, usually the lead candidate would be like, okay, well, I need to, really negotiate for, like, less debates and, like, less debate time for speakers and things like that. I don't think we've usually at least had the candidates have, like, some level of respect for the process that's been in place for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
And now we just have someone that's just like, no, we're just going to go ahead and completely ignore that. Doesn't matter.
Right.
And yeah, and that in itself is problematic. So, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're all Republican candidates, and they all have a lot of pretty crazy ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some that I think would be better to be stuck with than others, but it's not saying much.
Talk about the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
It would be multiple lesser of evils situation there. So yeah, in that list of lesser evils, I would put probably Chris Christie up there. I would put Nikki Haley up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably the couple boring guys that I can't remember their names,
Done.
just because They'll probably get nothing done anyway.
Right, yeah. So you put Nikki Haley, Chris Christie,
Yeah, and then the couple boring guys.
and the couple boring guys, you'd put them up there. They'd probably get nothing done. Yeah, but definitely not Mike Pence, Ron DeSantis, or that other guy.
God, no.
Those are like the worst.
Ramaswamy?
Ramaswamy, Vivek Ramaswamy. Yeah. No.
Yeah, like
absolutely not.
He's trying to out Trump to the extent I really feel like I don't know if he would actually do half the shit he's talking about, but it seems like he wants to prove that he could be even more extreme.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's insane.
I know.
But yeah, so I'm expecting that he's going to probably get a pretty good boost from tonight. I do expect to see him in the second debate. With what I don't know what the requirement differences are going to be, but I feel like he was successful enough in what he was attempting to do tonight that we'll probably continue to see him. But I also don't think he's going to make the long run.
No.
He's way too. There's usually every primary. There's usually like a flash in the pan candidate that really grabs people's attention, and then they just burn out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's the guy for this time.
Yeah, absolutely. So who do you think's going to hang on?
Probably DeSantis for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he didn't do, I think, as well tonight, he already has a lot of backing in place to kind of go against. I don't think. I think if we're just talking about for the next debate, and we'll go ahead and I'm going to give a prediction that will be down to 5. For it. So I feel like we're gonna get Ramaswamy, as I was just mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get DeSantis. We're gonna get Pence, even though I would further say I don't think we very likely may not see Pence beyond the second debate, depending on what the requirements are from there.
Mm-hmm.
And the next 2 that we would still continue to be seeing, God, maybe Chris Christie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, actually, he had so much negative reaction, though. Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, maybe not, actually. Yeah, he might be gone. So then it would be Nikki Haley, probably, and probably one of the 2 randos.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow one of the 2 of them will hold on, because one of the 2 randos, that I just can't remember their names, was the guy that did the you give me $1 donation, I'll give you $20. So if he's savvy enough to pull some kind of crap like that to keep going, maybe we'll keep seeing him.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know why this thing isn't loading properly.
Right?
Still having issues with it. I was on it earlier. Obviously, you saw it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But now it's giving me some issues. Maybe because I'm streaming or whatever. I have no idea.
Fair.
But look here, you can see who's ahead in the national polls.
Oh, interesting. I hadn't even pulled that up. Yeah.
And yeah.
Not surprised.
So you got Trump, DeSantis, Ramaswamy, Pence. Christie's way down. Yeah.
Actually, I didn't realize Ramaswamy was outdoing Pence. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, but yeah, I mean, that's, already the same top 3 I was just, saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. He'll be the burnout candidate. Pence he'll flounder. I just don't think he's got the personality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pence is going to be the Jeb Bush from 2016. That people thought he was going to do really well until he didn't.
Right. He'll have a please clap moment. I'm sure at some point.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it's probably going to just come down ultimately to Trump versus DeSantis, and I think most of that swing, all things being equal today, it's Trump. But without knowing how so many of these indictments are going to play out and what Trump's reaction to them is going to be, there's enough of a wild card that I think it's still hard to say for sure how that'll play out between the two of them.
Yeah. This is so... let's try this again. Come on. This is so silly. I've never even played the democracy games.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I thought you had.
No, I've got it because it was on sale for like a couple bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, it sounds interesting.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of Democracy 3, which has... It's basically like an indie game. I don't know if it actually truly is or not, but there's like no graphics or anything really involved. For the most part, it's like I had some issues with like, at least because Democracy 3, they had like, if you're doing like an American government, they were like, oh, okay, well here's the problems of the day or whatever. And one of the things that's a big feature, or whatever, of Democracy is that if you are playing it by the base rules and you don't alter anything, you have very little ability to affect change over anything. So it's like, well, if you're going to, on every replay, you're going to be stuck with the exact same problems at the beginning of your term, and you can't really do a whole lot, then... You know, it's like, is this game just trying to, like, say, like, well, you know, going into government and becoming president, whatever, is just, you know, basically a waste of time. It's not going to make any difference or something like that. Like, but with that said, I did decide to just, you know, mess with the stuff, change the rules and stuff to be able to say, like, okay, well, you know, you don't have to worry about re-elections. Basically, you could just be like a authoritarian dictator and make whatever policies you want and see what the results of them would be. And when I did things like that, then the game got kind of interesting. You know, because then you could actually see like what they had in place for talking about like the different side effects for like your various choices and, you know, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much, again, they may have changed that with Democracy 4, though.
I don't know. Find out in just a second. I mean, we can go to Far Cry if you want.
No, I think this will be probably pretty good. Because I don't know if I'm really in for a very long kind of session after this.
Okay.
For stuff, So yeah, I think just doing a little bit of this and whatever comes to mind to still talk about for the debate while we go, you know.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Okay. What do we do? You pick a country or something, right?
Yeah, I do remember Britain being one of the options, or UK, whatever, in the version I played. I don't remember. I remember there being other countries too, but I don't remember which one specifically. So.
Why does it say 1 star? Oh, difficulty 1 star, America. Oh, difficulty 5 stars. Okay. Well, how about 0 stars, Canada?
Right?
Oh, that's funny. Well, I don't care. What?
I mean, I guess America's, you know, it's where we're at, right? So
Yeah. That's funny.
It makes sense.
Difficulty. What? Oh, that's my name.
Yeah, it looks like you're just kind of choosing a party name and color.
All right, I'm not that creative. What?
No, I think that works. The Party for Chang.
The Party for Chang. Chang. Yeah. The Movement for Justice. Okay. 3 parties?
I don't think it's letting us select those because we are, if we're selecting America, then it's like, that's not a thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So starting debt? Okay. I mean, I'm just going to go with whatever it, does, because I've never played this before, so I have no idea.
Right.
Spreading fake news.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I played this so long ago for Democracy 3, I couldn't even tell you at this point.
Better get reelected, blah, blah, blah. Lives of 328 million people. Okay. So you need to monitor the opinion polls of our party membership. Okay, all right. So let's begin the term in office. All right.
Yeah, this is looking familiar.
Okay.
Ah.
Strips. One of the key concepts is in Democracy 4 is to understand that individual voters can be members of many different voter groups at once. Identify those groups and of itself. You will never get all of these voter groups entirely to approve of you, as some are opposites. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, white icons are policies. You start the game with some already implemented, but you can be canceled. But most I'm sorry, I read that wrong. But most can be I'm tired. But most can be canceled and many more can be added. They can also be adjusted. Policies are the primary method you use to govern the country. All right, whatever. Gross domestic product. Yep. Like the icons. Okay. Different zones. All right. I see. I don't know.
Yeah, I do remember the game being a bit complicated. I will.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
grant that. Which is why I think this tutorial is so thorough so far.
Hit next. Okay. So the influence flows between them, with green being a positive effect and red being negative. Okay. Let's take a look at a specific group of voters to find out more about them. Okay. That's it. Okay.
Yeah, looks like.
A specific group of voters. What's this? Oh.
Yeah, they were recommending clicking on middle income there on the left.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what they're saying is the
Okay.
the stuff they don't like versus stuff they like.
But liable to shrink if inequality rises. Okay. But that's... So what am I supposed to do? Oh, you can look at all this happiness. Oh, I see. It just shows up down there. Oh, it's a graph. Okay. Happiness, neutral. Membership, neutral. Income, okay. Yeah, you can see it's complicated, huh? Oh my goodness. So basically they're saying middle class people are in the middle, centrists.
Right. I mean, it seems pretty reasonable.
Can you click an individual dot? No, you can't.
Yeah, I think they're just supposed to be just.
Oh yeah, here you can.
What?
Oh my goodness.
You can click on every person in America.
Yeah. Wow. Focus group. All right, that's what we're on now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Capitalists, blah blah blah. Opinions, self-employed, negative opinion. Go fuck yourself. Okay. Oh wait, okay. This is the polling data. It shows opinion of government. But let's come back to that later. Let's chat groups. Hit. Okay, focus group. All right. The individuals lined up at the bottom are members of a random focus group. Oh, down here?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Click an individual voter at the bottom to see information about them. Do I have to say next first?
Probably.
For each individual, a diagram shows the extent. Okay. So I just quit tutorial and then I gotta pick. So how about the person that turns the other way? Okay. It's a different person, or is that same person?
No, I think it was a different person.
That's a different person.
Yeah, a lot of them are just the same generic portrait.
Right. Okay. Approval. So they're pretty good approval rating. Ah, construction worker. Not approved. Oh, not approval. Okay. Not approved. Approval. Oh, that's the type of people. This is complicated, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it looks like it's basically saying that people will identify most strongly with a particular like group of voter, whether it be like I'm mostly middle class or I'm mostly interested in, you know, LGBT issues or whatever. And then based on that, where people are primarily connecting themselves to. Interesting.
Ayn Rand, Milton Friedman, underneath the compass.
Oh, Donald Trump is even one there.
Where is Donald? He's up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan, Barack Obama. Yep, that's pretty accurate. Yeah. Bernie Sanders, Jeremy Corbyn.
Where do they have Bernie Sanders at?
Right here.
Oh, right there. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Look at that comparison there versus, because people accuse him of being like Joseph Stalin or something.
Right.
And it's like, no.
No, Joseph Stalin would be authoritarian, would be way up here.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how accurate this is to the political compass test that you take, but as far as this, because I usually end up way over here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I guess we can close out of this then.
Okay. So yeah, different areas correspond to different
military.
groups.
So what do you do? Oh, let's take the military all the way down.
Right.
Overwhelming force.
Yeah, I mean, we're America, so it makes sense that we would have, because yeah, that's how it was in the Democracy 3 that I played. The starting policies are what you would generally imagine would make sense with being America.
Mm-hmm. So bring it down, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if we're ready to do that.
Yeah. Oh, what happened there?
I just clicked
So
over it.
when you're trying to do anything, you have a certain amount of currency in the game known as like political clout or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Your political points. So you can only do as much as you have the political points to be able to try and do. Yes, political capital. Yeah, there you go. So if you try to do, like, whenever you try and implement a policy change, it'll tell you how much political capital that'll cost you. And once you're out of political capital, then you pretty much have to end the turn, because there's not really much you can do after that point.
Oh, do you get a new every turn?
Yeah, you get a new batch of political capital every turn, and I think you can choose to end the turn without spending any if you're trying to save up for something big. But otherwise, yeah, that's the idea.
Mm-hmm. It's us narcotics. All right, so the poor are in favor of me. Health services. So what you got to do is, like, basically to get reelected, you basically have to try to get somebody else to like you.
Yeah, get as many people to
On
like
board.
you as possible, while improving the country and whatever you feel is the most.
But can you
ideal.
can see the population to these groups, right? Is
Yeah,
there like
basically, yeah, because you see the different lines for
Okay,
what it is
4
they
points
feel.
set.
And here on that screen, you actually could see how much that issue really affects them, because they could be like, "Oh yeah, this is a negative issue for me," but they're only like barely negative, so they're like, "I don't actually really care about it that much. Just it would be nice if that were improved." Where yeah, like gated communities, they're like, "Yeah, we got to have them gated communities. That is like,
Mhm.
if you take away gated communities, we're not voting for you."
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Okay, so capitalists. Okay, So their quantitative easing, their failure of that, but that would be pro-business. How about some farmers, man? They're the closest to getting. Okay, so this tells me the freedom of the press. That's oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah, everyone falls into the category of everyone, so that's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Petrol tax?
Yeah, I think this game might not be American made.
Yeah, I don't think so. So we're gonna. Petrol tax is only 3%? Or is that reversed?
That I'm not.
Yeah, it's a
sure
rise.
how that works.
It's a rise. Okay, so revert changes. So it reduces the amount of money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem all that high.
Oh yeah, so yeah, the deficit is 147 billion.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and then debt 32 trillion. Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah.
Expenditure 950 billion. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna try to get some people on our side. So we need to find somebody. How do we? Self-employed, maybe.
Sure. Any group you want. Really kind of work. Yeah, they're not happy about anything.
Mm-mm. All right. So how about work safety law?
Sure. Yeah.
Where's that? I don't see that.
Highlight self-employed again. And work
Oh, there it
safety
is. Okay.
law. Yeah, there it is.
So it doesn't care about it, or does it want more? Oh, I can adjust and find out. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So they want less safety. Yeah, no, that's not happening. Sales tax. What else they got? That's not good. Oh, it's just the self-employed goes down if you raise it, but it goes up a little bit. So I could raise it, go down a bit.
Yeah, and as you're adjusting the slider, they're also telling you how much political cloud it's going to cost you.
It's not a lot of change, though. But I guess that's what you do. You do little tweaks everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
I see. So right now, the income from this is 200 billion. So we would reduce it. What is that? So cut it by a little bit. You know. Yeah. Apply changes. Okay.
Okay.
And what else we got? Let's see. So, oh, wait, stay. That's not the right thing. See if I can continue. State tax. Wait, what was that other thing? This? No. Sales taxes? Poverty. Why would poverty go down? Seems like a pretty good chunk, especially about equality. So this income is 35 billion sales tax. So we could reduce all this. It's not that much of a hit. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that. You're
just be like, there's no sales tax anymore. We
right, or
eliminated
1%.
It's all good now.
I'm gonna see what happens.
Okay.
All right. Let's, what else does the self-employed group has? Oops, socialists. Self-employed. Corporation. Whoops. It's like corporation tax. Socialist likes that.
Right.
It's funny.
And of course, capitalists and wealthy don't like it.
Right. Self-employed like it a bit, but no. Nah. Okay, let's try another group. I don't know. I just at least do one turn of this, you know?
Yeah, I mean, once you kind of get more of the hang of it, you can do turns a lot faster.
A lot faster, yeah. I see how it's functioning now, at least. Environmentalists. Nuclear weapons. We don't need. What's going on? Why can't I?
Let's see. Urban defense. Be sure. Option. Perhaps there's a policy in place that says that you can't affect it.
Oh, okay. Could be.
And you'd have to find where that is.
Oh, yeah, we haven't gotten to policies yet. Or aren't these policies? Or this is a policy?
Yeah, I thought the white things were policies.
These are just issues.
Yeah.
What's this? Implement new policies. Jesus. Economy. Mars program. Not favorable. All right. I don't know
Or
where.
it might just be that you don't have the political clout to implement it. Maybe
Could
that's
be.
widespread.
Maybe. Military spending.
Yeah, and even just making any changes in reverse is 6 cost on that.
Yeah.
That's America.
Mm-hmm. Property tax. How can I reduce property taxes? Oh, that's pretty good. That does a good thing.
Yeah.
Property tax down to 0%. Of course, I don't know what other people think of this. Right? Well, at least some of them, right?
I mean, you're seeing pretty much the list of people that would care there. And
Oh, I
it's
see.
Fairly insignificant.
Fairly insignificant.
Yeah.
What about income tax? This lowering income tax would definitely hurt the much money you're making, because that's like half.
Yeah, middle income is really like to see that go down.
And that's 9 just to do anything about that. So we're not ready for that. What does this keep flashing for? All right.
Yeah, I guess that's just one of the
because
big,
there's a heartbeat. It's flashing. That's pretty...
one of the issues of the day. Those are like the crises.
All right. So, oh, I see. So parents. But there's nothing I can do about this. Except
the
medical.
description may have given you some clues on what you can do.
This?
Asthma and other lung diseases are a serious problem.
Poor air
Possible
quality.
caused by factory pollution and car fumes.
Okay, so
maybe there's something connected with those that would help reduce that one.
pollution controls. Here we go. Ooh. Yeah. Let's go back to pollution. Restrict. What can you do? Capitalist doesn't like it.
Right.
I don't see the parents on the list though, but I guess that doesn't matter.
Yeah, because I think it's saying that there's like a more subtle connection or whatever that you have to just intuit.
Major fines. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it would be good for the environment, generally.
Right, but yeah.
And
Effectiveness.
of course, it also Well, actually, it's only 222 million. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
actually
not
pretty
that.
cheap.
It's not bad. Ah, let's do it. Fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you can see if there's any other problems of the day you could try and work on.
Mm-hmm. Just obesity.
Obesity. Yeah, that was one that was, I know, in the third game as being a big point to deal with.
So this is going to be like food. So I don't know where everything is, you know? So I can't go right to it.
Oh, okay, yeah, so it looks like bottom left is... It looks like when you're moving the mouse over it, they tell you what it is in the background. So this is everything economy related.
Oh, I see. Welfare,
welfare related,
foreign policy,
foreign policy,
transport, law and order, public services, tax. Gotcha. So public services, what's this? Free school meals, selective schooling. What's this? Abortion law. See what this can do. I can't do anything. It's got to be different. Faith, okay. I'm trying to find, like, where would health be? Public services? I thought I saw...
It probably would be under public services since this would be a British game.
There it
They'd
is.
probably see it as that.
Private healthcare doesn't like me.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
But that... Oh, obesity. See, there's listed, but it's not helping anything.
Yeah, unless you, like, max it out.
Oh, I gotcha.
Because then you can see it.
But then they don't like it. Or no, that solves the problem, right?
I mean, it's working towards solving the problem. I don't really know.
Well, I mean,
for
it's going
sure.
down, so that means obesity goes down, right? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's the negative value, so it's like it's a negative to a negative. So
yeah,
it would give you a positive result. Yeah.
Man. Oh, here. Everyone kind of, but I get I get more money. Wow, really a lot. That 8, huh?
Yeah.
All right. It says parents, so it tells you. Oops. So child benefit, firearms, narcotics. It's already up there, huh? It's expensive.
Yeah.
A lot of spending. Okay. And let's try doing, what was that, cigarette tax. Let's see if we should raise that shit. Get some money back. How many more points do I have? Didn't see.
I think 6.
6? Oh, I can't even do anything then. Yeah, can I just go to the next turn? Do I have to use anything?
I think you can just go to the next turn. I think you keep it, and then that's how you save up to do bigger stuff.
crime has gone up. It's going up. Interesting. Okay. Anyway. So, resolve dilemma. Okay. Oh. This is the dilemma. A law has been proposed to regulate the fat, salt, and sugar content and nutrition value. Okay. That's all the dilemma. That was easy.
Made parents happy.
Yeah. So these are the dilemmas. But they won't let you do anything about it until you... Another turn, I guess. What's this? Antisocial behavior. As we play the game online.
Right.
Wow. Conservatives. Race Discrimination Act. Jesus. Press freedom. Alright, I mean, we're trying to get more people up. Middle income. Inheritance tax. Income $4 billion. Yeah, they probably like it if I reduced it, but not by much, though.
Yeah, not really. Apparently that's not that big a deal to them.
Mm-hmm.
All things considered.
Motorist? Biofuel. Road building. It's already pretty high. It's already cost a lot. Shit. I guess you just go down the list, right? And see what you can...
I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Or, I don't know, is that how you should you play the game based on... You play the base bait... You have to take everything into consideration, right? If you want to win.
Yeah, but then you could also, go with just policies that you think, like, even in reality should be done, and then you're just like, well, let's see how the chips,
That's kind of the way I wanted to play. Oh, labor laws. Here we go. Pro-employer. No. Trade unionist. Wait a minute. Is that pro-employer? Which? Working week.
I mean, yeah, go into another section, see what it says.
What, here?
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. Going up is pro-union.
Oh, pro-union. Oh, I see. Gotcha. I see. Okay. I see what it's doing now. Balanced. That's a lot. 16, huh? Guess I can get away with 8.
Yeah.
Okay. What's this? Labor Day bank holiday? That's that whole policy? Agriculture subsidies? Cost. We need to figure out a way to make money, too. Right, border controls? Oh, here we go. Biometric checks. Patriots. That's limiting a lot of money. But not really. And it gets a bunch of people to like me. This is foreign policy. It says family planning. Genital mutilation ban. Jesus. Banned for females. What's costing us to do this? Wow. So let's save some money. Right? Oh, I don't.
Yeah,
I can't. I don't have
I'm
enough.
gonna let you, yeah.
I don't have enough stuff. I can't do it. Oh, it's 10. It needs 10. I don't have 10. I have 9.
Yeah. Well, also, that's not one you probably would want to lower, because that's the female circumcision argument, and why that's bad in other countries.
No, but I thought it said banned for male, banned for females. If you lower it, then it gets get rid of the ban.
Right, so you're saying, yes, you want people to be able to do female genital.
Well, you're saying yes if you go up?
If you went down, you are pro-female circumcision.
Really?
Correct.
Wow.
Going up would be saying no more male circumcision.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. Genital mutilation. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm missing this right. I'm stupid. I'm tired.
Yeah, it's one of those just the reverse.
Yeah.
Opposite thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, so it would cost more banned for male and female.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't cost that much.
It really doesn't. I don't know if it really affects that much either, though.
No, it doesn't. But what's like the red here? I guess there's more people who have a problem with it, of course, income tax.
Yeah, exactly.
Press freedom. Press freedom. Huh, doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, it's just whether how much do you allow them to say whatever they want to say, and the political clout it takes to be able to affect that change.
Well, I'm almost out of things, so let me just go to the next turn.
That's fair.
Click to return to government. Oh, did you check those books?
Yeah, I did the yeah, download those and yeah.
They're good.
Got them all set up to go. Yeah.
Oh. Nothing's missing.
Yeah, no, seem fine.
Okay. Oh. All right. Poverty, crime went down.
Crime down is good. Yeah.
Oh, we got some dilemmas. Yay, dilemmas.
Transgender military ban.
Well, yeah. Oh, Patriots went down.
Yeah, because of course they did.
But they're already so high anyway, so who cares?
Oh, your populator went from a green to a yellow.
From on what?
You just total popularity.
Oh, because of that.
Yeah.
Because of that. That's funny. Firearm laws? Alright, let's see what's going on here. No automatics. I can't do anything.
Yeah, that's also kind of weird.
Oh, you see, plus 27.
Ah.
That's why.
Yeah, that makes sense here in America.
Narcotics, also plus 27. Well, there's not really much you can do. Except try to get certain groups up. What about liberals? What do they want? Prison overcrowding. Alright. So that would be public services or law and order. Law and order, probably.
Probably somewhere in there, yeah.
Alcohol law. There it is. It's got to be it. Prisons. Also 27. Shit. What's this? Death penalty. Also 27.
Also 27.
Oh no, wait. So what, that has nothing to do with it.
That's fair. 27 is the one this the number of points you have.
Oh, okay. So how much is it? So how come the other ones wouldn't let me do it? It must be even higher than 27.
It might be. Yeah.
For violent crime?
Mm-hmm.
For serious crime? For most crime?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's be like, oh, you robbed a convenience store, death penalty.
Yeah, I think it's set pretty good. I mean, for violent crime, for death penalty, that's. I don't really believe in the death penalty personally.
Fair enough.
So people are coming up a little bit. Religious people are coming up a little bit. Population overall. Lose some from conservatives and patriots, but yeah, let's do it. Fuck it. Good. Now I can just move on.
Right.
Should crime go up? Probably. Oh.
Yeah, possibly.
Skills shortage. All right. Education. Now, where's education?
Probably somewhere in public services, yeah. Oh, I no, that was a blue thing.
That was a blue thing, yeah.
So I guess education is too broad of a
secularity of education? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's like a science emphasis.
Mm-hmm. Nobody really goes up until you go way up.
Right.
What's this? Executive term limit. Who's going to be democracy, liberal? Probably everybody would go down, wouldn't it? And you can't do anything.
Right. I mean, the cost for that would probably be pretty extreme.
Mm-hmm.
To allow yourself to be elected as many times as you want.
Technology colleges. That's going to cost me money.
But yeah, there are some policies that just everybody likes that you could just always, have kind of a win-win scenario for.
Mm-hmm. We could raise the cost of schools a bit. Student laptops. That's a bit much. But some people go up. Education goes up. I think it's important.
Yeah.
Raise it by like 10 billion. That's good. Yeah, whatever. 20. Huh.
Yeah, blaming the previous governor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
It said there was an urgent policy question about climate change, but now we're not seeing it. Oh, there it is.
It's the dilemma.
Country participate in the talks. Too far apart.
Yep. Sorry, capitalists.
Yes, the world would be a better place, but you're not on track to get reelected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my thing for when I played Democracy 3, and I basically removed a lot of the stuff to where it's like I could just implement whatever policies I wanted, no cost, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, so I just did everything that would be like Bernie Sanders, pretty much approved thing. And they were like, wow, the country's doing amazing right now. It's like, we can't believe how well things are going, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, oh, but you pissed off extremist groups, and then they came and assassinated you.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and it was like, oh, well, I guess that's how that goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Faith school subsidies gone.
Right. $7 to make that change, though. Jesus.
Gender transition, doctor's agreement. Okay. Yeah. Self-employed. What do they care? They're like, hey, so yeah. Trying to get somebody to go. You can do it two ways. You can see what can I do to get people up, but also people that I don't care about. What do I do to piss them off to improve the other guy?
Yeah, where would it be safe to make some changes to not screw you?
Right. So in this case,
Yeah. So right now, yeah, you're safe to piss off socialists, patriots, the poor, and the retired.
yeah. I don't want to affect people that are retired, though. But I'm also trying to figure out a way to make money. You like the religious thing, like get rid of that. I don't care if they go away.
Right. Yeah, because I think you've actually increased the deficit since you started.
Oh yeah, I definitely have.
Yeah, yeah.
Press freedom. Tobacco tax. Well, people will be happy. I can increase the tax on this. And the only people tobacco usage goes down.
Yeah.
And
And pretty much everybody gets happier.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Only the everyone category goes down a bit.
Yeah,
So,
which is to say... Wait, actually, is that saying that everybody gets pissed off?
yeah. Well, everyone
Oh.
gets pissed off a little bit because the tax is so high. But
Oh, that makes some sense. Yeah.
but equality goes down? Yeah, I guess equality would go down a little bit. But we're making $20 billion.
Like, sorry, everyone.
Yeah, maybe not. All right, we're just going to go to the next turn then.
Yeah, that's fair. Some things are really expensive. And you just gotta save up the
What's
clout.
this here? Ooh. Intelligence briefing room.
Ah, yeah, this is the extremist stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was one of these extremist groups that I believe was a right-wing one, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
That assassinated my Bernie Sanders president.
Yeah. Armed police, submachine guns. Holy shit. Bring that down.
That sounds about right.
In every department?
I don't know what that means. Oh, widespread.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, do we really need every officer? Well, every officer armed. Yeah. But we're going to do the bare fucking minimum on that. There we go. At least for now. Let's save some money. Security effectiveness is poor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Icon controls. Huh. As you can tell, it's... Yeah, it's complicated, but yet not.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, I know you don't want to make it a late night, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still good to see if you at least get reelected.
But I don't know
Unless
where we
you're-
are in time. Let's see. 3 months.
Each turn is 3 months. Okay. So you have 10 turns left.
Well, I won't get reelected, so. Parents don't like me at all. What's going on?
That's that respiratory disease.
Yeah.
And the firearm laws, I guess.
But firearm laws? No.
Yeah, actually, they're not that pissed off about that. Yeah, that's a very small hit to parents on that. It must just be the respiratory disease thing that's really messing with you.
Narcotics, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, parents go down, yeah. Age limit for cannabis. Medicinal cannabis. All right, well, parents would go back up. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think there should be anyway.
Sure.
License required. Yeah, nobody's gonna like that one. Liberals. Yeah, liberal would go down with me, technically. What's the other thing? Free school meals, cameras, the respiratory disease. So how do we... Okay. The environment. Parents. So it's all linked together.
Yeah, the tobacco usage, car usage is making it be an issue. Oh yeah, because they have their value, start trigger, stop trigger. So you need the value to go down to stop trigger to make it go away. So yeah, lowering tobacco usage, lowering car usage, and fixing the environment would fix the problem.
Fix the problem. Okay, well, in that case, I mean, obviously, put the tax on the cigarettes then, right?
Yeah, you were talking about doing that. You could do it.
I don't have enough. I can do 8. There we go.
Sounds good.
No, dilemmas. Yeah, I love dilemmas.
Right?
No, prevent.
Yeah, right.
And that would help the parents too. So.
Yeah.
Oh look, it went back up.
Environmentalists
Parents
not
went
doing
back up. There you go. Yeah, see.
Good stuff.
Labor laws. Cost. Working week goes down?
Yeah, because you don't have to work as much.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Jesus. Okay. There we go. And there we go.
Nice.
I'm about to go again.
Yeah, it's going a lot faster now that you're getting things figured out.
Yeah.
Oh wow, your popularity just plummeted.
Damn.
People suck.
Because of what? Because of the capitalists.
Probably.
Press freedom. Can I get people more freedom?
You know, it says it affects everyone, but it really doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like it would only affect everyone if you lowered it.
Right.
Probably.
All right. Well then, hell with it.
Yeah. Right.
What's going on here? It's already high. We already did that. Oh, this just shows like how many people dislike it and don't like it, I guess. So the
Yeah,
problems
I
that
think so.
exist. So state pensions. That's expensive.
Right.
But people like it.
Specifically the retired.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder why. It's already costing
The ones that
you
would
30.
benefit from it? What?
Yeah. Let's get that popularity poll back up again. Dilemma. Ban flag burning. Allow flag burning. Sorry.
Yep.
So the same. So state schools, private schools. Fuck private schools. Wealthy. Who can I get up more? Farmers? Food stamps. Cost. Magic agriculture subsidies, biofuel subsidies, game hunting restrictions. Yeah, that kind of has to stay where it is.
Yeah. Not a really important issue for most people.
Yeah. Commuter. Alright, so at least this isn't pulsing anymore. That's good.
Yeah. And yeah, there's also, you know, you could look again at the policies you can just implement from nothing.
Right.
As well. There could be some good stuff in there.
What, these?
No, it was in the top bar.
Here?
Somewhere around like the gun. Yeah.
Oh.
It's one of those. I don't remember which one. It may even be the gun.
Oh.
Oh, no, here it is. Policy ideas. Yeah, there you go.
Economy. City farms.
Yeah, so I think they're saying, yeah, some of the stuff would just affect whatever it is that you're,
I got you.
you know, yeah.
Potential costs. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's popular with most people. Implement it. Oh, it's created a whole new policy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then you can adjust it to do whatever you want. You can. I think it's free right now. Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was saying I think it's free right now to adjust to literally any levels you want.
Ah,
but
shit.
now it'll probably cost to go.
Ah, damn.
To do stuff.
Oh well.
Yeah. Because I also just noticed where it tells you what your current amount of political capital is. It also tells you what the cost to raise and lower it is. I noticed that as well.
Cost.
Oh, so it still is free. Okay.
No, this is Don't Mouse. I did a different thing.
Oh. Okay. Well, yeah. Raising and lowering it right now is free, so you can just do whatever you want. Yeah, just kill that obesity.
There, and it makes money.
And the youth are unhappy, but they don't vote, so...
Right, so who gives a shit? I mean, they grow up, you know, but you'd have to continue getting elected first, and then we can make changes at that point.
And if they get to the point that they've grown up, then they're not youth anymore, so...
So that other policy is under, what was that first one I did?
I don't remember. I already forgot what it was.
The carbon tax, wasn't it some sort of...
Yeah, I think it was something environmental related.
Clean energy subsidies? No.
No, that wasn't it, because it was a policy that's going to be in the dead center middle of the bar. Was it that one?
Oh, this one. Here it was. Smart meter program.
Right.
Ah, yeah, it costs now. Oh, it's still only one, though.
Yeah.
But it's not making any money. It's costing money to do it, so I'm not gonna do that. But I didn't see this one over here. Was it pollution controls? Now it's already a major fine. So okay. What's this? Quantitative easing. Yeah. Retirement age. That's unemployment benefit. Income went up a bit. Raises people's a little bit, whatever. All right, next turn. Health is good. Capitalists hate me. So what's this? Cabinet ministers? Law and order. Don't have one. Ohio Attorney General?
Oh, okay. Interesting. Oh, okay. So that affects your the amount of political capital you get every turn. Interesting.
I can't hire him.
Well, it's because you have tutorial.
Oh. Loyalty. Yeah, gives me the most political capital too.
Right? Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, higher. There we go.
Cool.
Loyalty. Not very loyal.
Mm-hmm.
You're fired. This one up here. Experience campaigning. Campaigning. Not very good at campaigning. Tax, transport, public services. I'll get this guy in here. Even though he's not have experience, but he'll gain experience.
Right.
Alright, so that's good for now. Any more policy things I can implement?
Maybe.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, because it'll be interesting, you know, once you've gone through the initial bit of this, and I mean, so much of this right now is just learning experience, to actually have a grasp of what you're doing to do a full playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Healthcare vouchers. That's a lot of money. Human cloning research. What's stem cell research?
Ban
Insufficient
private
capital.
education. Right?
Oh, it's what it's done. All right. Transport. So that means insufficient capital. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Buses, lanes, cars, cycling, clean fuel subsidy.
I mean, click on it and see what it says. Most people happy.
Doesn't cost that much, really.
It really doesn't. It's a little bit pricey, but if it's making everybody happy, and you can just max it out.
But it costs money to do that.
It's pretty cheap.
Yeah, pretty cheap.
Might as well get the most benefit you can from it.
Mm-hmm. blaming the government. Oh, crime's up again.
Oh, and apparently that pissed off everybody.
Everybody. But who? It says it's pretty good. Why is my popularity down?
No idea.
What was that thing? What did I put in? Some sort of transportation. You get carpooling. Oh, it's already in place, so it's going to be a public service or transportation. This clean fuel subsidy. So what's wrong with that? It says popular with voters.
I mean, yeah, it's got to be just other stuff over time getting worse, like the crime or whatever from like an unfixed problem or some other thing.
All right, so let's deal with some crime. What do we got here? Evangelical Alliance. Oh, this is not.
Yeah, yeah. This is just your like assassination concerns.
I don't like the idea. Nobody likes Big Brother watching them.
Right.
Tasers. Rare usage. Cost goes up. Oh, it's only millions. It's not even a billion. Routine. Ubiquitous.
Just walk up to someone on the street and just taser them.
Yeah, tase them. Don't tase me, bro. Security effectiveness is really poor. Oh, I got to do some other things. Maybe implement some policies about law and order. Right to privacy.
Wow, not a whole lot of people happy about that.
I can't really do anything because I need...
Yeah. Oh, appoint a senior judge. Okay.
Oh, the Republicans just blocked me, though. I have to wait until the next administration.
Right.
There you go. Capitalists do not like me. Unemployment's gone up.
Yeah, and crime. So yeah, I guess they're saying those are the issues of the day you need to be more focused on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I need policies to implement. Whoops. Okay. I need policies for law and order. Here we go.
Don't know what that is, but okay.
Proportionate fines. Potential income.
Yeah, probably like really pisses off the wealthy.
How many things does it cost? 16?
16. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty up there.
Still, that's up there. Maybe I'll just go to the next. Where's unemployment? Unemployment is...
Oh, it's got to be a red issue.
Right. Here we go. What's going on here? Economy. Somebody
Jesus.
quit. So I'll hire this guy. Oh, this one doesn't have any loyalty for transportation.
Dang.
All right, well, bye.
Just happy to accept their resignation.
Yep. Tax. Bye. Oh, it's that the clicking is it's like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Welfare. Bye.
Like every quarter you just get a new cabinet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been pretty good. Foreign policy. Bye-bye. Cool.
Seems pretty good.
Still
Yeah,
can't.
you were gonna look for like unemployment, I think.
Oh, yeah. I don't know where that is. Economies, probably, right?
Probably one of the red issues there in economy.
No, here it is.
Oh, it's blue. Weird. Oh, maybe it hasn't gotten to the point of becoming a crisis.
Employment's gone up because wages are down. State schools aren't getting enough funding, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. What should I do?
I don't know. It seems pretty bad.
Yeah. I don't want to appease these motherfuckers, though.
Right?
The country's still making money. It's just you're not making money.
Well, I do think you've doubled the deficit.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's still it's not. It's just expenditure. Still, we're still covered. We're not upside down.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to do something about the crime issue. Firearm laws. So I can't do anything. Wait.
Yeah, you can do anything up to the green, I think. But I think for some reason this one is kind of an all or nothing, that you have to go to the blue marks.
Oh, I gotcha. No automatics. Patriot goes up, crime goes up. Oh, goes down.
Yeah, it makes sense. Stronger firearm gun control than...
No, it says no. But stronger gun control would be here. Well, crime gets better if I go up. So it stays the same. Stays the same if I
Oh,
do.
so they're kind of making an argument that it could be
No, they're not.
either extreme.
No, I think this
okay.
This is
Because crime is bad, we want crime to go good.
yeah. Right. So to go good, it's got to go up here. But I can't afford that yet, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that's not. No. That's not really what I want. Police. There's got to be something else I can do. I guess these are the policies I could put in place here. Torture? Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Curfews, internet censorship, intelligence services.
Yeah, it looks like the Evangelical Alliance is currently working its way up to wanting to murder you, but everything else is pretty reasonable.
Right, but How do you solve the... It doesn't tell you anything about crime here. Judicial independence.
Oh, interesting.
Corruption goes down.
That's nice.
Democracy goes up. Nah, I don't like that though. But democracy is better if the judges are able to. Just depends on. Yeah. We have a dilemma. No, they're not gonna like me. Obesity. We have to report obesity problem now seems to be under control.
Oh, hey, yeah, solved obesity. Yeah, got you a little popularity bump.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough, but
Right.
Yeah.
Trade unionists.
I mean, that's been low since forever.
Right. But I don't think that's gonna. Liberal. Race Discrimination Act. See, I don't want to spend anymore here if I can avoid it. If I can avoid it, but I gotta get people on my side. So how am I gonna get capitalists up? Private prisons. I don't want to spend more money there either. That's also spending money.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. I don't like private prisons.
Yeah.
It'll save me money. But crime will go
Oh,
up.
you also have the option to just cancel the policy too.
Oh.
Yeah, like, in fact, it only costs $1 to cancel the policy.
Oh. I didn't know that. Cancel.
Yeah.
Oh. Fuck it then. Goodbye. What do we got here? I can't cancel this one.
Yeah, because it's just about legalizations.
Ah. So it depends on what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Abortion law, cost. Oh, total ban. I getcha. Only if religious people, conservatives drop, which they already hate me anyway. We'll go to the next, I guess. Oh, what do you got? What's this? I don't know what that means.
I think they're saying that.
Oh, I lost. For sure.
Yeah. Oh, no, we gotta count the votes.
Oh, yeah, I lost.
No, this was rigged.
Right. Yeah, it's tough. I don't know.
Yeah, I might give 3 a try because it doesn't seem like there's really that big a difference between them.
Yeah, probably not.
What I was seeing. Yeah. Interesting.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna sign off here.
Sounds good.